get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good morning. Now they're saying we could get a little stormy action later on today as it gets more and more humid. But I do think we're going to see a little more sunshine today than we did yesterday.
Really?
So it's going to be hot. It got hotter yesterday than was originally called for. It was like 87 degrees yesterday. It was hot.
And very humid.
Very humid. Yeah. So, but right now, knocking on whatever this wood is, if it's wood.
This is not a wood.
It's not wood. Knocking on this, the weekend looks pretty good. So we'll see how all of that goes. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the man with the award. Davey, he's coming in.
He's coming in.
He has the award.
His head can fit through the
I
doorway,
don't know.
right?
I don't know. He brought the award in.
There it. Oh.
And okay, this is the 2025 Davey Smith News Media Awards. You get a brick as well, and then you also receive the Les Devon Award.
You get bricks
which
too
is
sometimes.
Really nice.
Yeah.
This is much larger than one I received. I got to tell you, that's very nice.
I'm not saying anything.
Davey, sit right there, Davey, and get on that microphone. Congratulations. Did you say anything to people yesterday over at the brewery?
No, but I got interviewed by Spencer Davison at WKTV.
I saw you were on TV. Yeah, that was nice. So, did you tear up?
I got a little
choked up. Yeah, and you had a lot of people. I was not there, and I apologize. I was with Tim last night. We were at Water Safari. No, we were.
Did you go on Raging Rapids, the Tube Ride?
We did.
Down the
lazy river.
We did. On the bomb blade blaster. Shot right out into the water.
Right out into the water. Actually, Tim and I got to tell you, Tim, for me, it was my first Crime Stoppers meeting.
Yes.
In person.
Yes.
And I couldn't remember which door to get into for the meeting because I always handle the live stream for those who can't make it in person, and it's become really kind of convenient for people.
Yeah. Especially for Bill Keeler.
This time they wanted me in person, so I couldn't run the live stream. So think about it, for the first time since 2000 that I came to one of these meetings in person.
There were more law enforcement there when you were there than ever before. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, something was going on.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, that's and that was our issue. But
totally understand. You were there in spirit.
On our way walking out, I started getting the pictures, and then more pictures and more. We'll post some of those pictures. Really great shots of you getting the award yesterday. So really nice. Now you're also going to get
deserved.
You're also going to get a brick down on the...
next Tuesday.
And you'll go to that ceremony, too. That's really, really cool. So, congratulations.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Tim.
All right. And let's see. So, I wanted to talk to you about that. And then I'm not overly worried about the Yankees and Mets.
I am. They're only 1.5 games out up on Tampa.
This is going to be a long haul. The season. Don't expect the Yankees to be up by 10 games, nor the Mets. And there's Mr. Red Sox over here looking on.
You know, it's so funny because this Mets song that you sing, it comes every year when they start a little bit of a swing. Oh no, it's a long season. Oh,
listen,
fine.
it could be.
It could be.
You could be right. This could be the big collapse. But they're having some pitching issues right now, some injuries and dealing with it, but man, 5 in a row. Yankees 4 in a row or 5 in a row?
5, because they got swept by Boston. They lost the first 3 to
California
Angels, and they played today 4 games, and then the dreadful Orioles come into town. Yeah. Who knows? The Orioles always play the Yankees tough, so maybe the bats will wake up tonight
Maybe.
and over the weekend.
Maybe. Okay. So it begins a 4-game series tonight.
No, tonight ends a 4-game series.
Okay, today ends a 4. That's an afternoon
tonight,
game.
Actually, tonight, this
Okay.
afternoon's the game.
Okay, thank you. So what do we think, and I'll ask you, Tim, Dan Foss ramping down production over the remainder of the year. I kind of felt like this was coming, although I'll get your take and then tell you what
Right.
Richard's take is. Yeah.
Richard has the for sale sign he's putting up there.
Oh,
or whatever.
he's ready. Yeah, he's all in. This is doom and gloom. But your thoughts so far?
Well, I mean, the issue is that they're currently building chips that at this point in time in the United States aren't in high demand.
They're not in high demand. Yeah.
For full, EV vehicles. Saying that we are going to become an electrified nation at some point.
It's coming. And the other part I think that really affects this is those government incentives are now gone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the one thing they had to keep things going is now not there.
Right.
So it's coming, and maybe we end up moving on to another technology, and maybe there's opportunity when Micron gets up and ramped up and running. But I'll get to Richard says, like I said, the chip plants in Marcy finished. Dan Foss, it's like saying because there was a fire at Manny's Cheesecake, no one's ever going to eat cheesecake again. That's how.
Good analogy.
That is my analogy, Richard.
Yeah.
Dan Foss will be gone by the end of the year. Wolfspeed declared bankruptcy yesterday out of court. Stock plunged from $1.50 to 87 cents a share. I know you take every holiday off, but today is a national holiday. Are you off today? Holiday for a minority race? No, I think that's actually racist on its own. If not, off today. If not off today. So he'll be shocked to see me in here.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe you're racist for working. Maybe that's what he's indicating. Yeah.
So I wanted to bring this in. So anyway, on Dan Foss and Wolfspeed, I only hope that what happens over the course of the next year and a year or 2 years that things begin to ramp back up. But I also feel that Micron is going to offer opportunities. And here's the other part: if it doesn't work out for Wolfspeed and Dan Foss, the facility is the best facility that's available in the country.
Correct.
And there's more room to expand.
Correct.
So with Micron coming, I would not feel the doom and gloom that Richard feels right now.
I mean, if you think that there's not going to be chip production happening in the United States,
correct. Especially under this president.
Yeah. I mean, it's a world-class clean room in regards to it. I mean, the permitting and all the things that you'd have to go through from the giddy up to just start to be able to build this would take years.
And this is all done and ready.
It's done. So, listen, you really want to hope that they make it. I know that they've been draining down in regards to the North Carolina facility because they love the Mohawk Valley.
Yeah. Wow, this corridor. And Micron coming in offers great opportunity.
Yep.
Richard also says the Yankees have lost 6 in a row.
Yeah,
now.
he's right. Yeah, because he was saying that they got swept by the Red Sox.
Yeah,
you're right. And they've lost 3 games after
Richard,
that.
Thank you.
Yep.
I want to say that every year I look at our credit card and I'm like, well, my wife has purchased more stuff for her children.
Yeah.
Her children.
Yeah.
And she does every year, during the year, at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year, for her students. And she teaches 2nd grade. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that she purchased was these little stickers that kids can put on a computer and a book thing and whatever.
Oh, where'd the stickers come from?
The stickers, I think, came from China.
Oh.
But she didn't know.
I thought they were from down the street.
She bought them on. She bought them on Amazon and got a whole bunch of them. So she said, "You know what? I ought to go through these before I hand them out to the kids, and for good reason." Let's see. One of them probably not wouldn't work for a 2nd grader. No, these were supposedly age appropriate.
Yeah.
For a 2nd grader. Kick ass. You're going to hand that to can you imagine if a teacher, okay, if you don't like now some of these, she's very sensitive.
Yes.
Like as a second grade teacher, she's very sensitive. If you don't like volleyball, you need therapy. Honest to God.
Is this 2 years old in dog years? What?
If I wanted to be quiet, I would have stayed home. That's the last thing a teacher, for some reason, she said, I'm not even going here. Ball is life. She said with second graders, not going there.
Yep.
So that one got nixed. I have the no bag. This is the bag that says
no bag.
Yeah, and there are a lot of them here. I'm the coach. That's why. Okay, I'm not sure why she got rid of that one. I don't need therapy. I just need to play basketball. Where are they going with this?
I was going to say, I don't need therapy. I need more wine.
I need more wine. Where they're going with the therapy thing, I don't know.
Yeah.
In their translation.
Well, I think the Chinese have hooked us on TikTok, so now we all need therapy.
How about this one that shows a baseball player hitting the ball like out of the park with the giant letters on the bottom, all caps, touchdown. Even my wife, who's not a sports fan, knew.
Oh.
This one clearly is a baseball with an American flag, but it shows distress. The flag is backwards.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't. Even a kid would take it home to maybe a parent and be like, what are they giving you at this school? Here's one of my favorites. I think I might put this on the back of my car.
Oh no.
I'd hit that. Now we all know what that means. That doesn't mean baseball. Yeah. Watch out. This girl knows how to handle her balls. Honest to God. And it does show a soccer ball.
That's
but
good.
Again, she said
there's a little double entendre.
I'm not going there. I'm going to show you this one, and I'm not going to say it. Okay? I'm going to this one
mystery.
This one I'm going to show you here. And I'm not even going to say it on the air because it's clearly racist.
Yeah. Yes.
Not good, right?
Yes. That's terrible.
What do these Chinese think? They're sending us the worst stuff in the world.
Well, we we buy it.
School is important, but volleyball is most important.
Yes.
Volleyball. Another racist one with basketball. I'm a beauty in the hall and a beast when I play ball. Ball don't lie. Sorry you have to guard me. Hope you taped your ankles. What is this?
Oh.
Smell my bag. Again, another American flag backwards. There are more of these. And
wow.
So about half of them she had to discard because they were just incredibly inappropriate for many, many reasons.
So are you going to get those as when you want a sticker? These are going to be the ones you get?
She did give me, there was one sticker that was a New York Mets sticker, which was...
That's nice. Would they have a volleyball on it?
She gave it to me. Yeah. It said touchdown. All right, Ryan Schmelz with Fox News Radio. So Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth continuing to push the Trump administration defense budget, I believe is what that's supposed to say. Ryan, good morning. What do we know about this one? Good morning.
Good morning. We know that this is a problem for Republicans because they want a flatline defense budget that matches the Biden administration's fiscal year 2025 budget, and Republicans just don't think that is enough in terms of money. So they are trying to push for more money, and we'll see if the Trump administration is willing to play ball with that.
Yeah. You're going to hit $1 trillion, right? Isn't that what they're saying?
That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way that the Trump administration is doing the math is that they're saying, well, we've got the money from this, and then we've got the $100 billion from the One Big Beautiful Bill, and when you add all that up, it reaches $1 trillion. Well, defense hawks are saying, well, that's actually a farce number. You need to put that $1 trillion into the actual defense budget for the next fiscal year for that to count. So they don't really take the the $150 billion that's in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act as a legitimate, supplement for the military.
I do find that this is a very difficult time to be talking about cutting the defense budget, right? I mean, with everything going on in the world, with what we're watching on TV every night, with the fears that everyone has, this is a tough time to walk away from military spending.
Well, it's a challenge for the Trump administration, to say the least, right? They've said that they want to become more efficient with the military. Obviously, they still have the DOGE effort. They want to try to utilize that with military spending. And of course, they want to address the national debt because, one of the biggest things that our federal government spends money on is the military budget. Outside of entitlements, it's the biggest thing. Then you also have the fact that, there's accusations that probably some of the biggest waste, fraud, and abuse in the government's coming from military spending. And there certainly are ways in which the government can save money when it comes to the military. So it certainly is a big, delicate balance, especially when also the Trump administration is trying to say that we want to become a more lethal fighting force.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to do that when you're, not exactly spending money to the extent in which people are saying you should.
Ryan, one of the other things is with the president going to the NATO conference and pushing everybody at this to the 3.5%, you would think that would relieve some of the pressure in regards to the United States budget as far as defense is concerned.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, that's been talked about. That's been a part of the Trump administration's, agenda for a very long time. It was something that they touted as one of the biggest accomplishments of the first administration was how much they got NATO countries to start contributing to their military. So I don't think that's really changed much. And it clearly is something that they're still trying to push for because they think it's a winning issue, no doubt. Mm-hmm. But they also bring up a point, which is that they feel that if the United States is spending X amount on its defense, that the rest of the world should be held to that standard too. Obviously, they're not going to spend the same amount of money because they're smaller countries, but they should at least be contributing a certain amount of per capita.
Yeah. All right, very interesting. We'll see where it all goes, and who knows where the next few days go when it comes to Iran, right? This is very tense moments. Okay, Ryan, as always, thanks so much. Have a great day.
You too, buddy. Thank you.
All right, Ryan Schmelz with Fox News Radio. I think he got in a little trouble because we were talking to him too long. We'll get him on, and we'll start talking about a sticker, baseball, and all that stuff. I was going to bring up baseball because Baltimore is going to be playing the Yankees, right? But I'm trying to follow the rules. I am a very big rule follower. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know that. Yeah. Richard says it's 5 to 7 years before Micron opens. And Tim is exactly correct about my holiday comment. You should have taken off Juneteenth. It is a racist move by you to not take this day off.
Richard and I are simpatico.
I didn't take President's Day off. White American presidents. I didn't take that day off.
So now you're anti-president.
That must be. I am. It must be. Now, if Juneteenth fell on a Friday,
funny how that works.
You just never know. And he says, I'm just setting the facts about Wolf Speed and Danfoss. Yeah. It didn't need. I don't need smart-ass comments by you. Facts, buddy. Facts.
Oh.
So there you go. Tony in Herkimer. Good morning, Tony. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bell. How are you?
Good. What's on your mind bright and early here on this Juneteenth holiday?
Well, on July 20th of this year, the First United Methodist Church will be closing its doors.
Oh, boy.
That's the church across from the Herkimer Post Office here.
Yeah.
Christianity is folding slowly, I'm telling you.
You think Christianity is folding?
Well, look at our world. Look at what we're going through.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going into a real dark place.
I like
Iran and everything.
I like.
We need to.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I like Christianity when we were fighting the holy wars, and those were some good days back then when the Pope really ran the world. So I think that listen. Fewer people do go to church today. It does seem to be that's the case, and we have a lot of these large churches, and consolidation has become really important. So I'm not sure that I go so far as to say Christianity is dead, especially after seeing the crowds when it came to the new pope and how Chicago reacted to the new pope. Now, it's funny, I got to say, we were in a...
This whole Iran thing, we need to keep our nose clean.
We'll stay on that.
We got to stop stepping in to, it costs us money to go to war.
I am of the different opinion. I say let's get in there. Let's drop those bunker bombs. Let's get down in underneath. Let's take out the nuclear facility. Let's no more waiting for Iran to say, yep,
let's stop Iran, but let's not rebuild Iran. Let them rebuild
I don't think we should be in.
We aren't real good with.
No, I don't.
Empire
nation
building. Nation building. Yeah. No.
I don't think we should do that.
Doesn't work well.
However, I do worry about you have people in Congress that are like, this isn't our war. How do you think we were attacked on 9/11?
We need. Put it this way, we need to implement better government. And I think, like I said, and I told Davey that, and I think I've talked to you about it, that professional wrestlers and actors make really good political figures. Jesse Ventura, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Al Franken.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well,
crazy.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan.
Ronald Reagan, obviously.
Ronald Reagan, the actor.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan, almost dead, they say. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not.
Well, I would vote for Jesse Ventura, but he wants open ballot access, and he wants to be in the debates.
Yeah, you don't want that. Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, he would wreck him.
Yeah, he'd kill him.
And if he was to be elected, he would be the first liberal president since...
He had a liberal.
FDR
Not even FDR.
I wanted, to be honest, I wanted Ross Perot back in the day.
Ross Perot. Yes.
He was something.
Well, I wanted him because, looking at the numbers and the figures on a TV screen hurts my eyes. But when I can look at it on a piece of whiteboard, it's just so much more pleasing to the eyes. So, all right, Tony, I've reached
and a few more months, and September 2nd, I'm moving back to Rhode Island.
You are. All right.
Yep, and I'll be on the radio station coming that Saturday, September 6th, on the rock and roll radio station out there.
So are you on HJY out in Providence?
Yep,
okay.
WHJY on the Steve Scarpetti show. Basically.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations on that.
Well, I'm trying.
You are.
Get out of New York.
Yeah,
There's nothing left here. Herkimer County's falling apart.
Yeah.
It really is.
I know.
They got all this. The governor gave the county a lot of money.
Yeah.
We're not utilizing it properly.
Right. Well, look at the church closing. I mean,
exactly.
Could have saved it.
We got Pizza Hut's gone, Save-A-Lot's gone. Everybody's just folding up. Nobody wants to come in.
When I thought about this and I saw Save-A-Lot closing, I said to myself, "This ain't good."
Nope.
All right, Tony. Good stuff.
There's
and
left.
Good luck. And
I grew up here. This is my backbone to my,
I know.
Teenage years. I went to school here.
Yeah, I worked
when I first got a job at 16, the old PNC in Herkimer, up in front, there used to be a flower shop and a print shop.
Yeah.
And I used to work at the print shop, and my mom worked at Len Brown Chevrolet.
Okay.
Before Steve Ponte, yeah.
Where was the PNC in Herkimer? I worked at the Great American.
The PNC was
over
for the new jail.
By the jail, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right, by Nichols. Where Nichols used to be on State Street. Okay. Davey, what are you saying? I have to take a break? Davey is saying to me,
okay,
I have to take a break, Tony.
And
there you go. All right. You have a wonderful day and try to stay
stay hydrated.
Might be a storm today. Try to stay hydrated, okay?
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Goodbye.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Well, there's Tony, and the world is coming to a close.
This has been really
just
nice. God left.
Just like
Wolf
this,
Speed left.
This segment.
Everyone's left.
Coming up, we'll talk to Tanya J. Powers. What is Juneteenth? And we'll get to that coming right up here at WIBX.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update, brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive, Yorkville. A New York State trooper will not face charges in the shooting death of a man in Unadilla back in 2021. The New York Attorney General's office has completed its investigation into the death of Mark Bailby Jr., who was shot by Officer Justin Miller. The AG's office said body cam footage shows Bailby Jr. threatening to kill himself with a knife before throwing knives at Miller, who instructed him to drop the weapons. Miller fired 3 shots at Bailby Jr., who was struck in the chest, and he later died. The AG's report said Trooper Miller's actions were justified and valid, so the office will not be filing criminal charges against him. Albany is turning down death benefits for the children of the Miosotis Familia, an NYPD detective killed in the line of duty. The assembly has failed to fix a gap in a New York state law that would have provided death benefits to the children of Detective Miosotis Familia. She was gunned down in the Bronx execution style in 2017, leaving her 20-year-old daughter Genesis to adopt and raise her 2 younger siblings. New York City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams has released a statement saying she's disappointed in the assembly for failing to recognize that giving death benefits to spouses and parents, but not to children, is unfair. Just last week, the council unanimously passed a home rule message supporting legislation that would right what Adams says was a wrong. And today is Juneteenth. Thursday's observance is the 4th time millions of Americans are getting a paid day off as the nation commemorates the end of slavery in the U.S. The name of the holiday is a combination of June and 19th. President Abraham Lincoln freed enslaved African Americans when he issued the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, and it became law later that year through the 13th Amendment. But slavery didn't effectively end until June 19th, 1865, when Major General Gordon Granger and his 2,000 Union troops arrived at Galveston Bay, Texas, and proclaimed that more than 250,000 enslaved black people in Texas were finally free. Your Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Big time heat coming next week. May have to deal with some severe weather in between, and some of that severe weather could be here today with an approaching front. Some fog this morning. Storms this afternoon around midday, maybe a little bit earlier. 85. And some storms could contain wind, hail, maybe an isolated tornado. A chance into early tonight. Overnight low 60. Intermittent storm shower tomorrow 80. Heat really starts building, though, not this weekend. How about Monday, mid-90s? I'm Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, mid-90s.
Love it. Love it.
I'm all in. Right now we have partly cloudy skies, a little sunshine out there. It is 70 degrees. Let me take Chris right now on the, I don't know if you saw the results of the Karen Reed trial.
Yes. No relative.
No relative there?
Nope.
Spelled differently, though, right?
Yes. Spelled the right way. She's an READ.
She's an READ. That's why I call it, the Kristen Red trial. Everything's in the past. Here's Chris on that. What is your take? Were you happy with basically the not guilty verdict?
I was thrilled with the not guilty verdict. This is a monumental case. It has exposed corruption that really needed to be highlighted. The entire planet was able to witness a disgraceful judge, Auntie Bev, who really should be removed from the bench.
Yeah.
She's biased. She's disgusting. Everyone knows it. Also, the red flags in this case with the way the police handled this case. For instance,
there really was no evidence that the police manufactured anything or tried to set her up. It was just something that a theory the defense came up with. I don't think there was any evidence that they presented.
No, I have to strongly disagree with you there.
Okay.
There was loads of evidence that police. Well, first of all, when you have an officer down, that's obviously an extremely serious situation.
Yes.
That crime scene was handled by clowns.
Yeah.
Where was the CSI? Where were the pictures? Okay, the first thing you do is you get all those witnesses in that house, you put them in the squad cars, detectives interrogate them in a recorded conversation immediately. You separate them.
Yeah. Right.
Okay,
right.
now you got a dead cop. Listen, you got a dead cop on another cop's lawn. Mr. Albert inside the house. You have all these sirens and EMT vehicles. He never even came out of his house.
Yeah.
He wouldn't open his door. Let me tell you something. That CSI investigation normally would have lasted at least 15 hours, and you better believe normal police would have been knocking on that door, or they would have waited for him to come out. And then what you do is you get a premise freeze, and then you establish probable cause, and you get a search warrant for that house. Okay? None of these things were done.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I mean, the red flags.
Yeah.
How about, okay, Bill, you say nothing was done. How about the fact when Karen Reed was driving down the road, leaving the scene, and the library caught her on video, and it just so happens the moment her vehicle passes, that footage is missing.
Well, that is definitely something that is curious, and I think it played a role.
What about, hold on.
Okay.
What about Nick Barrows, state police officer? His testimony directly contradicts Michael Proctor's testimony in regard to the cracked brake light. Now, Higgins was alone with that.
I didn't dig so deep into this trial.
Hours.
Yeah.
For 2 hours, he's alone with the vehicle, and that footage is missing.
Yeah.
Why did they destroy their phones, Bill? Come on, you're telling me there isn't a cover-up?
Well, all I'm going to say to this, and I see this is Christian. Good morning from sunny Florida. I'm not a good person to talk to about this because I didn't follow it that much. I just saw little headlines, and so I understand. You know the details. Yeah, well, I'm a little more invested in these types of things. I understand.
But I'm just trying to tell you another thing, Bill. The neighbor to where the cop was murdered was a police chief. He refused to hand over his video footage that had a direct line of view on the crime scene.
I'm amazed at how much you know about this case. It really is. It's astounding how deep you went. And I got to say, a lot of people online, especially, they really, really dug into this case. So, all right.
Well,
I do have to break though. Yeah,
okay,
it is important.
Thing, though,
yes.
Bill, don't forget, police have the ability. They take our time, our money, and they can take our life. We have to be very careful to scrutinize them. They have a lot of power. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Never forget that.
All right. Christian, thank you. And I await your update and appreciate your take on this case. Very, very complex case. So thank you.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yep. All right. Thanks so much, Chris.
Thanks, Bill. Have a good day.
You do the same. Well, welcome to Juneteenth. This is Thursday, June 19th, and then we're going to learn about all of that coming up.
I think it was Colonel Plum with the pipe wrench in the Conservancy.
Well, listen, the only thing I saw out of the report was that they did not offer any. There was no smoking gun to prove that somebody else, who else did this.
Yeah.
All there was the information showing, and that was their job, the defense attorney's job, to show that she didn't do it. And they did a good job.
Not that she's innocent.
Not that she's innocent.
Guilty.
That's right, that she is not guilty.
Different.
Tim was dug in on YouTube, too. He watched every day. All right, I got a break. Hold tight. At 6:50 at WIBX.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $2,000 of free windows? When I say $2,000 of free windows, I mean $2,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $2,000 to get $2,000 free. You just get $2,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of the restrictions are income-based. And you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Are you tired of watching stock market swings hit your portfolio? Phoenix Energy provides investors with 9 to 13% annual interest rates through corporate bond offerings in the oil and gas sector. Start today and get monthly deposits directly into your bank account. Phoenix Energy conducts offerings pursuant to Rule 506C under Regulation D. Alternative investments are speculative, illiquid, and you may lose some or all of your investment. Securities are offered by Delmore Group, member FINRA SIPC. Delmore Group and Phoenix Energy are not affiliated. Learn more by visiting phoenixenergy.com/iHeart to register for a free investor webinar.
The Vernon Downs Casino Hotel Summer Benefit Concert is returning with the Little River Band. 50 Years Happy Anniversary Tour, Friday, June 20th. Enjoy an evening of live music in support of ending hunger, and proceeds from all ticket sales will be donated to Food Bank of Central New York. All seating is general admission only, on the track apron or in the grandstand. Don't miss the Little River Band, live at Vernon Downs Friday, June 20th. Get tickets on Ticketmaster or visit vernondowns.com to learn more.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Let me get to Tanya J. Powers from Fox News Radio on the line right now. Tanya, good morning, and happy Juneteenth holiday. Good morning.
Thank you. I can't believe I'm going to miss the Little River Band. I love them.
Well, listen, it's time for a cool change. And
Amen.
And all of a sudden, we've gone from complaining about the cool weather to, man, it's hot. This heat is just terrible.
I try my best never to complain about the cold weather. I don't care if there's a long. I like snow anyway, because when it's 98,
yes,
I know it's coming and I'm going to miss it. So I do not take the cold for granted.
You know, New York City is very much like your home, your home upstate. And what I mean by that is when on that very first hot day, your house is so cool. Your apartment building, whatever it is you're in, is so cool. But when the concrete and the structure begins to warm up, it stays warm for the entire summer. So your house then becomes very warm. And New York being a concrete jungle, you get that too. So tell me, what is Juneteenth, the holiday?
Juneteenth is a federal holiday. It has been since 2021 when President Biden signed legislation that established it as a federal holiday. Juneteenth is the date in 1865 when Major General Gordon Granger traveled to Galveston Bay, Texas. He took about 2,000 Union troops with him and came with the news that more than 250,000 black people in that state were free. Now, 1865 is when this happened. If you are an astute observer of history, you'll remember that the Emancipation Proclamation went into effect January 1st, 1863, which was more than 2 years before June 19th, 1865. There were some rebelling states that, even though the Emancipation Proclamation freed African Americans in those rebelling states, Texas was one of them, when they, went into effect in 1863, the Civil War ended in April of 1865. But it took a while for the rest of the states to go, okay.
Yeah.
So there were enslavers who were aware of the implementation of the Emancipation Proclamation. But then when the Union Army and General Granger showed up and said, hey, we're here to enforce this law that you guys have been ignoring, that is when all of the enslaved people in the rebelling states were freed. That was on June 19th.
You know, there's an interesting similar story about World War II that somewhere in Japan on one of those islands, there was still a group of people that were still at war a year afterwards and didn't realize the war was over. You know what is totally sad is that rebellion of the freedom that African Americans would receive. It seemed to go on for a long time in certain parts of the country, like 100 years. But this Juneteenth is a celebration of that time, and it is now a national holiday, which today I'm assuming means no mail, no trading on the stock market, no banks, all of that stuff today.
Yeah, the non-essential government offices are going to be closed, and state and local ones might also be closed. like you said, the mail, that's another one of those things that's, don't expect the mail to run today. So, yeah, if you have business in a government office, you might want to check and make sure they're open.
If they're open.
Because they may not be.
All right. Interesting stuff. Tanya, as always, we appreciate it. And is it appropriate to say Happy Juneteenth?
I believe the folks who celebrate Juneteenth the most would say it is indeed very happy.
It is happy. It's a happy day. All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Tanya, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thank you.
Tanya J. Powers from Fox News Radio. The official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. And Daylight, where you can get just some of the most delicious iced coffee, and you're going to need it over the next week as things are heating up, folks. Iced coffee, the 32-ounce supersized double X large iced coffee. Check it out today at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford.
The 4th of July sale is on at Mattress Express. Save up to $1,350 with the largest selection in central New York. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans. Hurry.
You're great at protecting your personal information. You might even use things like two-factor authentication and strong passwords. But as much as you try to control how your info's protected, there are other places that also have it, and they may not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name Clay as the promo code at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Prescription products require completion of an online medication consultation with an independent healthcare provider through the LifeMD platform and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Individual results may vary. Additional restrictions apply at lifemd.com. Read all warnings before using GLP-1s. Side effects may include a risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. Do not use GLP-1s if you or your family have a history of thyroid cancer.
Confused on where to start with weight loss medication? See the lowest prices available with or without insurance for Wegovy, Zepbound, and more at trylifemd.com. 95% of LifeMD patients said starting their weight loss journey was simple. Listen to Tara's story after losing 42 pounds.
You just take your shot. It doesn't feel like you're on a diet. What I wasn't expecting it to do was to shut off the food noise. I had gone from 237 to 195. This was life-altering, and if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it.
Get your free insurance benefits check in minutes right now at trylifemd.com. Nearly 96% of patients said they would recommend the LifeMD program to anyone who wants to lose weight. Get started right now at trylifemd.com. That's TRYLIFEMD.com.
Hey, Davey, Hobuckus free money question is coming up next hour. It's worth
$300.
Right. $300. We'll do that about 7:35 next hour on WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studios, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Iran's supreme leader cannot continue to exist. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what Israel's defense minister just said after more missiles from Iran got through Israel's Iron Dome defense. One hit a hospital, others hit residential areas. Dozens of Israelis were injured. Military spokesman Nadav Shoshani tells Fox.
This morning, we saw a preview of what could happen if we let Iran keep going this way. And their goal was to have thousands and thousands of these ballistic missiles on Israeli civilians. And on top of that, nuclear weapons.
Fox's Mike Tobin's at the scene of one missile strike in Tel Aviv.
And it's quite dramatic, the fact that there aren't more casualties because of these massive missiles that are crashing down. And that's largely because Israelis are respecting the warnings and heading to the bomb shelters. Now, there was also a missile that hit in the area of Tel Aviv in a town called, or a neighborhood, I should say, called Holon. That is an older residential area. And again, you have dramatically minimized casualties given the force of the impact.
Now, Israel continues to attack Iran from missile sites to nuclear facilities, including one today that has a reactor for nuclear fuel. President Trump met with his national security team again and is considering having the U.S. join Israel.
If it's a choice between fighting and them having a nuclear weapon, you have to do what you have to do.
The president says he hasn't made his decision yet, but Iran still wants to negotiate, even come to the White House, which an Iranian statement rejects, calling that a lie and despicable. The Trump administration is going to let foreign students apply for visas again to come here to study, but they'll be under more scrutiny than ever.
The applicants must make sure that all their social media profiles are visible to the public on the public setting. And if the profiles or the content remains private, it will be considered an effort to conceal and hide information and evade vetting. Fox is told that the vetting officers are keeping an eye out for signs of hostility towards several things, including citizens, culture, government institutions, and also the founding principles of the U.S.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. America's listening to Fox News.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/policy. That's ethos.com/policy.
U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active-duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
She is free and not guilty. Karen Reed acquitted at a retrial in Massachusetts.
Supporters of Karen Reed erupted into cheers after she was acquitted of second-degree murder, manslaughter, and leaving the scene of a collision that resulted in death. Her boyfriend at that time, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, was killed. Reed thanked her supporters outside court for the financial and emotional support.
No one has fought harder for justice for John O'Keefe than I have and my team.
While prosecutors argued that physical evidence found on Reed's vehicle and found on O'Keefe prove her car hit him, her attorneys say that evidence was likely planted and that there was no evidence on his body that he was hit by a car. After her first mistrial, the lead investigator was taken off the case for derogatory messages he'd written about Reed. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The jury did convict Karen Reed on a drunk driving charge. She'll get 1 year probation for that. There's no change in interest rates.
For a fourth straight meeting, Fed policymakers are keeping the benchmark interest rate unchanged to a range of 4.25% to 4.5%. Fed Chair Jerome Powell.
The unemployment rate remains low, and the labor market is at or near maximum employment. Inflation has come down a great deal, but has been running somewhat above our 2% longer run objective.
Fed officials still foresee 2 interest rate cuts by the end of this year, the same as they projected back in March. The Fed remains cautious amid increased uncertainty around the economic outlook. Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
Powell also mentioned the Trump tariffs on imports adding to uncertainty and the prices will rise, but the president disagrees. He wanted a full percent rate cut.
$88 billion came in from tariffs. No inflation. And it's going to get even more so. I know what I'm doing. So we have a stupid person, frankly, at the Fed.
Now, on Wall Street, after a mixed day with a small Dow drop and a slight NASDAQ gain, the market will be closed for Juneteenth, the holiday. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update, brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive, Yorkville. Right now, 71 degrees under cloudy skies. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is coming up next. A Lee man was arrested in Rome following a shots-fired incident. Rome police say they investigated an incident Saturday into the shots-fired incident near the Burn Dairy on Erie Boulevard East. Witnesses told police 2 vehicles had fled the scene. Upon reviewing footage, police learned one of the cars was parked at the establishment when another pulled into the lot. A man then exited that car and began firing towards the parked vehicle. That car being shot at fled. Police were able to identify the drivers of both cars and arrested 21-year-old Namir Lewis. Lewis was charged with second-degree menacing as well as third- and fourth-degree criminal mischief. He was held for arraignment. New York's consumer protection law is being updated to protect New Yorkers from artificial intelligence-based schemes and other scams. What's called the Fair Business Practices Act also protects against deed theft, predatory lending, data breaches, and more. It would stop lenders from deceptively steering people into higher-cost loans. The Fair Business Practices Act has not been updated in 45 years. A former Washingtonian of the Year is speaking out after being fired from the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Committee, along with the rest of its members. Seattle infectious disease Dr. Helen Chu was dismissed last week when U.S. Health Secretary RFK Jr. fired the entire advisory committee on immunization practices at the CDC. Chu tells the Seattle Times she's worried about the health and safety of Americans following the committee's dissolution. She adds she's confused by Kennedy Jr.'s claims that the committee acts as shills for the pharmaceutical industry. Chu says it's not true and that the committee makes science-based recommendations based on the data. Chu was named Washingtonian of the Year by a state leadership board in 2021. And the NYPD is identifying the firebug who torched 11 police cars in Brooklyn last week. They're looking for 20-year-old Jackie Logshan McKay and have released video of him in connection with the arson last Thursday, 2 blocks from a Bushwick police station. Police say Logshan McCrae scaled a gate at the cop cars at a parking lot near Central and DeKalb Avenues, covering the vehicles with fire starters. They're asking the public for help in finding the suspect, saying he was wearing a gray sweater, green pants, and a blue face mask. Your Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Big time heat coming next week. May have to deal with some severe weather in between, and some of that severe weather could be here today with an approaching front. Some fog this morning. Storms this afternoon around midday, maybe a little bit earlier, 85. And some storms could contain wind, hail, maybe an isolated tornado. A chance into early tonight. Overnight low 60. Hit or miss storm shower tomorrow 80. Heat really starts building, though, not this weekend. How about Monday, mid-90s? I'm Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, 71 degrees under cloudy skies. Your WIBX News Time, 7:08. Here's your sports, brought to you by the IBEW 43 Local Sports Desk. A new NBA champion may be crowned tonight. The Indiana Pacers playing host to Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 6 of the NBA Finals. The Thunder winning back-to-back games, now leading the best-of-7 series 3-2. A win would give Oklahoma City its first NBA title in team history. The Pacers are preparing to play without their all-star guard, Tyrese Halliburton. He's been dealing with a lower leg injury, and that has hampered his performance throughout the series. The Bills announced their open practice schedule for next month's training camp. The squad will prepare for the season at St. John Fisher University in Pittsford. A total of 11 open practices will be held starting July 23rd. Dates and more information can be found on the team's website. Preseason play begins in August with a home contest against the New York Giants. And speaking of the Giants, they're confident they will have their top target back for the start of training camp. Head coach Brian Daboll said a wide receiver Malik Neighbors' status for the summer will not be affected. The toe injury that caused him to miss spring practices. The G-men expressed Neighbors to be ready for the start of camp on July 22nd. Neighbors finished last season with 109 catches for around 1,200 yards. The NFL announcing training camp reporting dates and locations for all 32 teams. Rookies slated to report to the Giants facility in East Rutherford on July 15th. Veterans reporting the 22nd. Jets rookies will report to the facility on July 19th, with vets expected to arrive on the 22nd. The Yankees continue to spiral after being taken down by the Angels. The Pinstripes were tapped by Los Angeles 3-2 at Yankee Stadium. Jazz Chisholm Jr. and Cody Bellinger each went deep with a solo shot. New York still leads the AL East despite dropping 6 straight and will wrap up its 4-game series this afternoon. The Mets' losing streak is up to 5 games after being shut out by the Braves 5-0 in Atlanta. Paul Blackburn was tagged with the loss after allowing 4 runs, 3 of them earned on 4 hits and 2 walks. New York, leading the NL East, hopes to salvage tonight's series finale. And Scotty Scheffler looking to defend his crown at the Travelers Championship. Scheffler won last year's tournament after topping Tom Kim in a 1-hole playoff at TPC River Highlands. The 28-year-old will be alongside the U.S. Open champion J.J. Spawn for the first and second rounds. Brian Campbell and Bud Cauley will be among the first pair of players teeing off on round 1. Your WIBX News Time, 7:10. Currently, it is... Gotta love Siri over there. 71 degrees under cloudy skies. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Tim, I have a couple of music things for you.
Okay.
I know your knowledge in music is really, really incredible. All right. Are you familiar with
the Little River Band? No.
The Little River Band. I can't imagine. Are you familiar with Ronnie Winter of Red Jumpsuit Apparatus?
No.
It's a
what is that?
Well, it's like a classic rock band, and they have a really big following.
Oh.
However, the frontman, Ronnie Winter, came out this week and said, if you're a Christian, see, sometimes you gotta be careful about going too far.
Yes.
With your political
Close
beliefs.
to the edge and not over the edge.
If you're a Christian and you're watching this and you voted for Donald Trump, shame on you. You're not allowed to come to
I did hear about this story.
shows.
I heard there was somebody that didn't want people to come to the show.
You're not allowed to come to my shows if you're a Trump supporter.
Do they have to, like, present their papers?
I guess. I mean, how would you know?
I
mean,
am not MAGA.
You must be they must really have like a really big pocketbook.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Half the country, please don't come.
And then did you also see Carol Kay? She was part of the Wrecking Crew.
Oh.
So
yeah.
She has been nominated and inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes.
As a bass player.
Yep. I remember
She played on many Beach Boys songs and really everybody back in the 60s.
Yep.
And she said, hell no, I will not be there. I do not accept. And her reasoning is, and she said, oh, by the way, I don't like the name The Wrecking Crew. I never liked that name.
Yeah.
So she said that she's out. She's not going to come. She will not accept it. And she says, because we were just like 150 musicians. We all were union musicians. We all worked the same to pick one person or just a couple of us and honor us is wrong.
She feels like they're pandering to her.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
Good
she
for
says,
her.
no, I will not accept. And then one more. You know, we were in studio here just the other day. We had the head makeup artist for The Bear.
Yes.
Love the show. It's a show about a chef in Chicago, comes back to family drama, and it's really something. And it's played by Jeremy. The head character is Jeremy Allen White.
Yes.
So did you see he has been chosen? Now picture him if you know this show.
Yes.
On FX.
Watched it, yeah.
Hulu.
It's coming back again, I think.
Coming back this month.
This month, yes.
Picture his face.
Yes.
What rock star do you think he would do? He would be, because there was the kid who played Dylan, I thought did a really, really good job. Mm-hmm. So Jeremy Allen White, who do you think he could play? Turns out,
Brian Wilson?
Springsteen. And it works. When you see you got to look at the trailer. I'm going to play a little bit of the trailer here. The other part of this is I can't believe how much like Springsteen he sounds. It's really incredible. Here's some audio from the trailer.
Here's what I want you to understand. This is not about the charts. This is about Bruce Springsteen. And what he's doing with this album.
That's him. That's pretty good. He sounds pretty good. It's called.
He definitely has the hair.
It comes out October 24th. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. It's really about his 1982 work on the album Nebraska.
Oh, not popular.
For a lot of big Springsteen fans, that was controversial.
Yes.
And in fact, that's what that clip you heard was the record company and the producers saying, we don't think we should get down this road.
Yes.
And ultimately, they went a little more pop with Born in the USA and The River and all of that stuff. Nonetheless, here's a trivia question for you. By the way, this movie comes out in the fall, and I will be one to watch it in theaters. Has Bruce Springsteen ever had a #1 hit song?
I would. Was Born to Run
Born to Run was not #1. Born in the USA was not #1. Dancing in the Dark, however,
I was thinking that
was #2. Springsteen never had a Billboard #1 song.
His highest was #2 was
Number
Dancing
2.
in the Dark.
Dancing in the Dark was his highest.
Oh my God!
Which he would say was more of the sellout, right? Born in the USA, although it's what made Springsteen fill arenas like the Carrier Dome and put 60,000 people into an arena.
The video for that, there was some. Was it an actress or something like that that's famous for coming out and dancing?
From Friends.
From Friends, not Aniston.
It was not Aniston. Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
She came out and danced in that music video.
I just wrecked your $300.
That was going to be the question, and now you blew it for me. All right, a couple of quick phone calls, and I got to break. Cordelia in Rome, good morning.
Yes, good morning. How are you doing?
Wonderful, wonderful. What's happening, Cordelia?
Okay, I'm actually calling in to congratulate Davey on the Boilermaker Award.
Davey, are you hearing this? Get on that microphone. Cordelia congratulating the man. He won the Les Devon Award and the Media Person Award. You were a two-time award winner last night. He walked away with all the awards, Tim. Yeah.
Good for him.
Thank you very much.
All right. There you go.
Yeah,
all
you're
right.
going to have to turn me up on it because I can't do anything in here.
Okay, how about that?
That's good.
All right, Cordelia, there you go. Thank you.
Okay, bye, Davey. Congratulations.
Thank you, Cordelia. Thank you very much.
Nice. Very, very nice. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Galimi, who's supposed to be in at 7:40 this morning, is telling us he will not be in. Mayor Galimi, good morning. What's going on?
Whoa, hello, Bill.
Oh, no,
hello,
it's not.
Tim.
It's not Mayor Galimi.
You know what? That's a constant mistake.
Big mistake.
Everyone thinks it's Galimi. And
you can tell by the voice, right?
Yeah.
It's very difficult to be able to differentiate between the two. All right, Stefan, what's going on? Quickly.
Well, yesterday I was in Whitesboro at the firehouse. Marianne Buttonshawn, Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshawn, had office hours at the firehouse yesterday.
Nice.
And Dave and Dana only were there as well. And I didn't make it to this, but last night down in Oneonta, Josh Riley had a town hall meeting.
I did see that, yeah.
Congressman Josh Riley, and I guess there were a lot of questions being asked of Josh Riley from what I saw.
Well, these town halls have become quite exciting events. Let's just put it that way. So.
Yeah.
All right, Stefan, good stuff. Thank you so much for the update.
And the Mets need to stop spiraling out of control, and they need to get some wins here.
Yeah, let's see what they do today. Third game with the Braves. Yipper. All right, Stefan, thank you so much. And then finally, Ann in Rome. Good morning,
yes,
Ann.
yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. I want to also congratulate Davey. I saw his interview on KTV.
Yeah.
Well deserved. He did a really good interview.
Yes.
Great interview. Well deserved. Very proud. And I'm proud to say you're my friend, Davey. All the best, buddy.
Very nice.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you very much.
All right. Good stuff, Ann. Thank you. And she continues to do really well with her battle against that horrible C word.
Yep.
And let's see. There is no cut at the Travelers Tournament this week, says Wayne. Did you know that? We'll have to check in with Scott on that. All right, coming up, we'll speak with Robert
I think
Smullen.
he's talking about golf, Bill.
Right, the Travelers
Championship is golf.
Yeah. And the cut would be today, after today, right? Or tomorrow?
It'll
be tomorrow. It'll be the Friday before the weekend. I keep thinking today feels like doesn't it feel like a Friday?
It's Juneteenth.
I got to tell you, on Monday it felt like a Friday. And then we'll speak with Assemblyman Robert Smullen on the end of session, everything that they voted on. Plus, in the military, he worked very much in foreign affairs and national security. I do want to get his take on everything that is going on right now in the world, because it's a bit of a scary time right now, wouldn't you say? Just a little bit. We'll get to all of it coming up at WIBX.
The 4th of July is more than a celebration. It's a reminder of what freedom really means. It means we have a responsibility to stay prepared, stay strong, and stay independent, no matter what the future brings. That's why My Patriot Supply is running their 4th of July sale with huge savings on emergency food kits, solar power systems, water filtration, and more. From solar generators to long-term food storage that lasts 25 years, every item is made to help Americans take care of their own without waiting on FEMA or the power company. Shop the sale now at mypatriotsupply.com/radio and save big on all things preparedness. My Patriot Supply is American-owned, American-operated, and proud to support the self-reliant spirit that made this country great. Don't wait. Shop mypatriotsupply.com/radio to stock up during the 4th of July sale. That's mypatriotsupply.com/radio, because real freedom starts with being ready.
It happens more than you think. A customer wants, needs the goods and services your business offers. No matter how hard they try, they can't find you, but they find your competitor right there at the top of the results page.
And even if they do find your website, when they click, it's like a ghost town.
Hello?
Outdated, not compelling, and perhaps worse, it has information that's not accurate.
Y2K?
But how do you fix that? At Town Square Interactive, we have the tools to help you maximize your online presence. Just go to mylocalcustomers.com and start by getting a free local customer analysis.
This online tool will show you just how many customers in your area you could be reaching. To get in front of those customers, we will build a premium website for your business.
One that shows up well in web searches and converts website clicks into phone calls, appointments, and foot traffic.
It's simple, it's fast, and it's affordable. Go to mylocalcustomers.com and get started by getting your free local customer analysis today.
The 2025 Boilermaker is sold out, but WIBX with Fit Body Bootcamp of Clinton and Whitesboro has your last chance to get in. Score an official running bib on us to the 2025 Boilermaker Road Race. Enter on the WIBX mobile app by June 22nd, and you could be running in one of America's most famous races on July 13th. So run, don't walk. To register now to win one of the exclusive Boilermaker running bibs on the WIBX app. Thanks to Fit Body Bootcamp of Clinton and Whitesboro and WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
If you are dealing with, I don't know, Davey, maybe, I don't know. I do not know. Revive Soft Wave Therapy with Dr. Timothy Delmedico. If you're having some pain, it is the same technology, Tim Reed,
yes,
that is used for someone to get rid of a gallstone, or they'll tap at it with ultraviolet rays or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's what it is.
No, it isn't at all, but it sounds good.
It revives soft waves.
Thanks, Dr. Hall.
And they pick at it, it explodes.
Yes.
Basically, it breaks it up so that it can be passed.
Yep.
So I did when I called it ultraviolet waves.
Ultraviolet.
You look the other way. I know nothing about this stuff. Just do it to me.
Yes.
Don't tell me what it is.
Yeah.
This is Revived Soft Wave Therapy, and it really simulates a bit of a slight injury, where the body then reacts, and your body reacts to heal itself, and that's what happens. It's a $99 new patient special. Just call and ask about that. Introductory discovery session includes a consultation with one of their doctors, soft wave therapy treatment recovery plan, and assessment. It's Revive Soft Wave Therapy with Dr. Timothy Delmedico. Call 315-725-8427. And don't do the concrete work yourself, because you're going to be over at Revive Soft Wave Therapy
exactly.
with back pain.
Getting ultraviolet.
Let the experts at Brank take care of it. Concrete driveways and sidewalks, chimney work, old stone walls and block walls, anything masonry and concrete, Brank has you covered. I talk about this somewhat often, and miss it dearly. The backyard at our previous home, yes, and they built not only built the kitchen, which was spectacular, but built a patio and a stairway that went into the backyard. It used to be just like a little hill, a little upgrade as you'd walk into the backyard. But they created this beautiful natural stone. Retaining wall and stairway, and it was so beautiful. These guys know that's all they've ever done is masonry and concrete work. So call them today, 315-894-3481, Brank Construction, 315-894-3481.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, we are supposed to have Assemblyman Robert Smullen And there must be some confusion, Davey. I don't know. I do not know, but I'll try to figure it out. Nonetheless, I have much more I can get to if you're all right with it. A whole bunch of stuff going on from overnight. You know that as we follow everything happening in the news with the Iran and where do you somebody who's been in
the military,
and been in conflict. That's the other. There's one thing to be in the military, which I'm not lessening that by any means. But when you have done things,
yep.
It is a different world. What are your thoughts? How easy it is for Washington just to say, okay, we're going to send boots on the ground. We're not going to be doing that here.
No.
However, you never know with the slippery slope. But then you can look at it the other way. And do we want Iran to develop a nuclear weapon?
Right.
The answer to that is no.
No.
Because their target would be Israel.
Right.
Period.
Who has nuclear weapons?
Yes.
That's a different thing.
So not a good mix.
It's a tough neighborhood. There's no doubt. And, this is a war-weary country. I mean, we went in and, between, Iraq and Afghanistan.
Well, and false pretenses.
Yeah. Nation building has not really been our strong suit. The military, the military is built for, breaking things and hurting people.
Yeah.
We're not really good at,
rebuilding.
Here, let's have democracy.
Well, the problem you have is there is a population, though, in Iran. I mean, think about Iran under the Shah, and this goes way back into the 60s and 70s. But during that time, Iran was a friendly nation, and it was a place we traveled to.
Right.
People traveled there.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of complaints about the Shah in regards to that it was he was installed by the United States government. Heavy hand in regards to
really good example police, about just what we're the nation building,
secret police and stuff like that, or whatever it is. Now, now you have you still have a strong hand. It's a theocracy now with under Islamic rule.
Yeah. However,
it's
young people
they aren't real hot.
They are positive on Westernization.
Exactly.
And it seems like the government has kind of looked the other way.
Yeah.
Because normally that can get especially women in some very big trouble. But at the end of the day, I don't know that we have a choice.
Yeah.
To say that that's their problem, not ours, is not the world's too small today.
I think it's the idea that you want to get rid of a nuclear weapon is one thing. The idea of when you start hearing things like we're going to assassinate, the
take out the Ayatollah,
leader, the Ayatollah. Yeah. We're going to instill regime change.
That's coming from Netanyahu.
I get a little nervous about that.
And then when we're done here,
yes,
the world will be safe, except for we got to take care of one other problem, and that's North Korea.
Yeah. The dear leader?
What are we going to do there? I mean, because he is actively working with Russia to build a nuclear weapon.
I think he probably has the weapon.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have the delivery system.
Yeah. So all interesting stuff, and I wonder where all of it goes. There is a list out today. I'm sticking with music. I pulled a bunch of music stuff for you.
Oh, good.
Another list of worst classic rock covers.
Oh, well.
Can you think of a really bad classic rock cover?
What, like that Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds by Bill Shatner? That's not really. That's not even in the classic.
That isn't even in the category because it's so bad. The list is out, and in the past, Dancing in the Street by Mick Jagger and David Bowie.
Oh, it's awful.
Topped the list. I didn't think that was that bad.
It's terrible.
All right, it's
terrible. I mean, you took two legends, okay, and tried to throw them there, and it just came out. It was so schmaltzy.
It was
terrible.
It was a real sellout.
It was a sellout.
Yeah, it was a sellout. Here's the part of that song with a couple of others that made the top 10. So I think the number one. There are two songs that come to my mind, and they're in this little medley here. So these are some of the worst classic rock covers in the history of music.
Mm.
Prima Donna. Awful. Why?
And good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this will be the day that I die.
It's like karaoke.
Don't you just know exactly what they're thinking? You want my body.
This is the Rod Stewart classic, butchered by Paris Hilton. All right, I gotta stop it. Please stop it. Limp Bizkit. Stop it. Sometimes I push these buttons and nothing happens. Limp Bizkit made the list for their cover of George Michael's Faith.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I don't even want to play that.
There's blood coming out of my ears.
Another terrible classic rock remake belongs to Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit. 2003, they covered the Who's classic, Behind Blue Eyes. This also.
Vengeance that's never free.
Discover.
Okay.
Why? Fool with perfection.
Why?
That song was perfect the way it was. Leave it alone.
And then one more thing about music that I thought I'd throw in today. An old interview is making the rounds again because of what Dolly Parton said when she saw the real life. So apparently the song Jolene was written by a friend or an acquaintance named Jolene. And when Dolly Parton was interviewed on The Tonight Show about it, she said, yes, a few years ago I saw Jolene, and well, let's just say she didn't age very well. Here's audio.
The real story was about my husband, this girl that worked at the bank when we first got married. You know, this beautiful redhead, and he was spending more time at the bank than we had money. That's kind of what that was based on, but just so you know, I did see Jolene not long ago.
Oh, yeah.
She's not so hot now. She's not.
You know, Jolene was trying to steal her husband.
Yeah.
She used to have that beautiful red hair.
Yeah,
now she's gray. She used to have a little tight butt. Now she can't get. It's a tight spot getting her butt through the door now. Seriously. And she used to wear a D cup. Now she's wearing Depends.
Yeah, that was Dolly Parton right there.
Wow.
Listen, a woman scorned. Be careful. All right, coming up, we'll update the news, and then we'll do Habakkuk's free money. I can't believe it, Davey. We're $300 here this morning.
Yeah. He's in a good mood.
We'll do Habakkuk's free money question of the day. Mayor Galimi coming in a second. Some things said about him yesterday by Katie Aiello.
All positive.
Well, yeah.
Things,
yeah. Mazda certified pre-owned vehicle is a tremendous value. And while they focus on creating the ultimate customer experience at Steepani Mazda, they only select the best late model Mazdas for their Mazda certified pre-owned vehicles. They offer a 160-point inspection with a balance of a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. And if you say to Rick, listen, I need a lower payment, he'll say, all right, let's make that deal. Let's make your deal on a Mazda certified pre-owned vehicle from the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction. It's Steepani Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. And portions of the program also brought to you today by the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. If you're in need of a new doctor, or actually spoke with someone who was in here without giving anything up, because I don't think you have HIPAA regulations, they said, yes, Dr. Shemilisky is our family doctor. And family doctor, or if you need a second opinion, Dr. Shemilisky, Dr. Zielinski, and others, all under one roof, because it is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. If you're looking for medical assistance, if you're looking for a new doctor, call them today. 315-507-4751, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. 7:35, a hot one on the way today. Full forecast and news coming up.
Are you sick of being just a number or doing a mindless job? Become a craftsman in a trade. Become an IBEW electrician. The IBEW and the Electrician Training Alliance will give you all the tools necessary at their state-of-the-art training facility. Earn as you learn. paid training while you get your certification. What are you waiting for? Become an IBEW Local 43 electrician. Call or go online today to learn more. Find your career at IBEW and let the Electrician Training Alliance light up your future.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
You're great at protecting your personal information. You might even use things like two-factor authentication and strong passwords. But as much as you try to control how your info's protected, there are other places that also have it, and they may not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name, Clay, as the promo code at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
This station is brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. For all your mobile home needs, it's worth the trip. Visit johnsmobilehomeparts.com for more info.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. A Lee man was arrested in Rome following a shots-fired incident. Rome police say they investigated an incident on Saturday into a shots-fired incident near the burned dairy on Erie Boulevard East. Witnesses told police 2 vehicles fled the scene. Upon reviewing footage, police learned one of the cars was parked at the establishment when another car pulled into the lot. A man then exited the vehicle and began firing towards the parked vehicle. The car being shot at fled. Police were able to identify the drivers of both cars and arrested 21-year-old Namir Lewis. Lewis was charged with second-degree menacing as well as third- and fourth-degree criminal mischief. He is held for arraignment. The Onondaga County Sheriff's Office is identifying the kayaker who drowned in Tully Lake. The agency says 21-year-old Kadir Olasi was kayaking with a friend Sunday when he went into the water and never resurfaced. Olasi didn't have a life jacket on, and dive teams recovered his body on Monday. Olasi had joined that friend's family at the lake for a weekend, and the tragedy is still under investigation. There's sadness in the culinary world following the unexpected passing of chef and Food Network host Anne Burrell, who may have suffered cardiac arrest. Jennifer Pulsoni reports.
Anne Burrell, who is 55, died Tuesday morning after she was found unconscious and unresponsive inside her Brooklyn home. A statement from her family remembering her as a beloved wife, sister, daughter, stepmother, and friend. Burrell, recognized by her spiky blonde hair, hosted Worst Cooks in America and appeared on several other Food Network shows dating back to 2005. I'm Jennifer Pulsoni.
And one of the highest-selling American female music groups in history is coming to the New York State Fair. En Vogue will be on the Chevy Park stage on Sunday, August 31st at 6 p.m. The Grammy-nominated group is known for several smash hit songs, including Free Your Mind and Hold On. This concert is free with paid admission to the fair, which begins August 20th, and it ends on September 1st. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone. Your weather next, brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. For all your mobile home needs, it's worth the trip. Visit johnsmobilehomeparts.com for more info.
Big time heat coming next week. May have to deal with some severe weather in between, and some of that severe weather could be here today with an approaching front. Some fog this morning. Storms this afternoon around midday, maybe a little bit earlier, 85. And some storms could contain wind, hail, maybe an isolated tornado. A chance into early tonight. Overnight low 60. Hit or miss storm shower tomorrow 80. Heat really starts building, though, not this weekend. How about Monday, mid-90s? I'm Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Currently, we're already with sunshine at 72 degrees is where we stand. All right, Davey, it's time for Hobica's free money question of the day. It's worth $300. And what caller number are you looking for here this morning?
Caller 7.
Seventh caller right now at 315-736-0186. Before we break, let me bring in Lucia. And Lucy, I had just listened to a voicemail message from you, and I did not realize you've been under the weather. So I hope you're feeling really better.
Good, really good. Yeah,
good for you.
Thank you.
Nice.
I'm happy for you that everything was well and everything went well. Great.
I was a little under the weather as well. Mine lasted for like 3 weeks. I couldn't get rid of it. It's terrible.
But also, it's
tried to spread it with everybody.
Allergy is really bad. I can't even talk.
Oh yeah, they're bad. Yep.
Also, but your results, my friend listening told me it was great, so I was so excited.
Yes,
you know?
all is good. Yeah. All is good.
Yeah. God is with you, remember, forever.
Yes.
Always think of beautiful things, and beautiful things are going to happen. Yes.
All right, I'm going to do that. All right. Anything else you have before I break here?
You think I should run the Boilermaker or what?
I do think it.
If Keeler could do it, you could do it.
That's right. I think you probably would do a much better job than I did.
Oh, yeah. In my next life, I don't like jogging.
Well, I don't know. The way you look at it is, I never looked at it as jogging. I always looked at it that I was running from someone who was chasing me, and I'd look behind me, and there was no one there. I was like at the very end. It was terrible.
But I was always a walker, One day I did 14 miles. Yeah. 5, and 4, okay?
All right.
But also, I jog a little bit. And I used to do 1 mile in 10 minutes. That's good for me.
Yeah, that's good.
And, at the time when the Boilermaker first began, I met Bill Roger. You remember? You know him? Remember?
Yeah. Good man.
He gave pictures.
Yeah.
And my daughter was the first child to do a Boilermaker ever.
That's really cool. I did not know that.
Cool, right?
That is really cool.
You remember you sent me to do an interview with the guy from Kenya.
I do. I think the Kenyan. Yes. In fact, I don't know if you heard the commercial we did with the governor. The governor believes that Tim actually ran the Boilermaker and beat the Kenyans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gov.
He did. All right, Lucia, I have to break, and the Boilermaker, by the way, is sold out. Can you believe it? I love it.
Wow, it's big, beautiful.
However, you can go to our website and you can sign up for an opportunity to win, and there's some charity bibs that are available as well.
Exciting time. Thank you, Bill. I'll talk to you.
Thank
Bye.
you,
Have a
Lucia.
great day.
And then
Ciao.
coming up next Wednesday at Babes at 6 p.m., we're doing the National Anthem Contest, looking for the singer this year of the National Anthem. And there are several spots for the anthem to be sung.
Yes.
So we'll need more than one.
Correct.
If you want to be a part of it, you can go to our website at WIBX950.com, and you can sign up. And we hope to see you, whether you sign up or not. We hope to see you there Wednesday night singing the national anthem.
So does that mean I have to be there too?
You do, Davey.
Davey.
Yeah.
That's the... with those awards come many responsibilities.
It's what happens when you win.
Yep. And when you get a promotion, too.
That is true.
Oh, that's
Executive producer.
What a year.
It's been a big year for Davey.
Big
All
year.
right, Tim in New York Mills, you're next to take Obika's free money question of the day, and it's worth $300. We will do it next on WIBX.
Why do people shop at Mattress Express? Our guaranteed lowest price program. Bring in any locally advertised price on a mattress we carry, will beat the price. If within 90 days of purchase you see it advertised for less locally, bring it to our attention. We will refund the difference.
Beautiful woodwork adds warmth and charm to any kitchen. But years of use can leave your cabinets worn and faded. When you call Enhance, we'll make your cabinets as good as new again in as little as 1 day, for a lot less than you pay for traditional refinishing or replacements. Whether you want to renew your cabinet's original finish or completely change their color, just tell us the look you want and we'll help you get it. Or bring your hardwood floors back to life. With most Enhance renewals, you can use your floors again the same day. Plus, there's no mess, no dust, and no odors. Call Enhance today for a free in-home consultation. We'll explain the process, we'll show you how your cabinets or floors will look when we're done, and we promise you'll be really pleased with the price. And when you trust Enhance, you'll get the skilled workmanship and attention to detail we bring to every job. There's no obligation. Call us now at 738-1113. 738-1113.
Are you tired of watching stock market swings hit your portfolio? Phoenix Energy provides investors with 9 to 13% annual interest rates through corporate bond offerings in the oil and gas sector. Start today and get monthly deposits directly into your bank account. Phoenix Energy conducts offerings pursuant to Rule 506C under Regulation D. Alternative investments are speculative, illiquid, and you may lose some or all of your investment. Securities are offered by Delmore Group, member FINRA SIPC. Delmore Group and Phoenix Energy are not affiliated. Learn more by visiting phoenixenergy.com/iHeart to register for a free investor webinar.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, we'll get to you, Mayor. We're going to get to you. There's the Mayor, if you're watching on YouTube.
Yep.
Dressed in a beautiful shirt. It's color mauve, I believe that is. Is that mauve? Peach. That's peach. I do like the little cuffs and, yeah. I would not be able to wear that till I lose my weight, but
yeah. Okay. So
when will that be? I wonder.
That's the free money question.
Oh, and it matches your bug sunglasses. I keep seeing that. I feel like it's a Bug's Life when at Disney. He was wearing the glasses. There he is, the famous Mayor glasses. Yep. All right, Tim is in New York Mills, ready to take a shot at Hobica's free money question of the day. Joseph and Andrew Hobica for all of your legal needs. Call 315-724-1600. Okay, are you ready, Tim? This is worth $300.
Yes.
All right. This is in the category, I've been really hot this morning on music.
Yeah.
Everything is about music. So here is your question. This is called finish the lyrics / you fill in the blank is what it is. So I'm going to read a lyric to you, lyrics to you, and then there'll be a blank. You got to fill in the blank, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to do this kind of with a twang because it's country. Country. I'll never expect to see you again, for I'm bound to ride that northern blank. Ready? Are you ready? Go.
Mm-hmm.
The northern blank. What is it?
Pony.
The northern pony. The northern pony. Now think about country music. It could be pony. And Tim, you're going to take a guess?
Train?
Train. Yeah. It is train. Yeah.
Northern train.
I thought you nailed this one. I thought that because the northern what? A northern.
I was trying to.
Maybe
I was
pony.
sending admonitions to my fellow Tim.
Maybe pony.
Darn.
You'll know the. Do you know? Are you recognize the song? It is the. It is the song from the movie. What was the movie? There it is. George Clooney was in this.
Oh, brother, where art thou?
Brother.
Oh, brother, where art thou?
Oh, I do like that song. Apparently, my wife is shutting it off again from home.
In Sunny Valley,
for
many years, that's where I made rain.
Sing through your nose.
Sing
through your nose.
Learn to love.
Yeah, we'd be really.
Elson Krause's band.
That
it was.
Was it really? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yep. That was really good.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim, I'm sorry. We're amusing ourselves. I wish it was pony, but we're going to give you the all-in-one food and fun card. It's a $25 gift card. Good at Aquavino and Babes and Taylor and the Cook and the Odd, and the list goes on. You stand by. Davey hooks you up, okay?
All right. Thanks, Bill. Have a good day.
And, Tim, remember, when you're speaking with Davey, you're speaking to award royalty.
Yes.
He won two awards yesterday, so...
I see it on the TV.
Yeah.
See?
All
Everyone's
right.
talking about
All right, stand by. Davey, he's all yours. In studio right now is next hour. I will. I'm sticking with music with you next hour.
Oh, good.
The best country music in movies.
Oh.
And by the way, number 5 on the list. I Am a Man of Constant Sorrow by the Soggy Bottom Boys.
Yes.
From Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yes.
That is what you just heard.
Yep.
In studio right now, he's a big bluegrass fan, Mayor Mike Galimi. Good morning.
How's it going?
Good. So I'm going to ask you right off the bat. I brought this up yesterday with Katie Aiello on the air.
Okay.
Will you sit here and put her there and just the two of you do an hour show about the city of Utica and what she may have and what you might, and just let's air it all out right here. I'll bring popcorn.
So here's the thing. I would do that.
All right.
Right? But
you use the word would.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing.
But.
Different.
No, so
but.
here's why. Because
Yeah.
I've said yes to these things a lot of times with Celeste, with Katie, with other elected officials, with people who wanted to debate me multiple times. But what I want to ask is, why am I here right now?
Why are you here?
Why was I invited onto the radio right now for this exact interview?
Well, because I wanted to ask you if you'd sit down with her. That's why I really.
Well, so here's my point, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday was a good day. We did the ribbon cutting for Munson.
Yes, it was one, and
Right.
they say when you'll see the landscape and what the improvements.
Right.
and
Yes.
it's beautiful.
Right. So
Yeah.
that there was that. Then I met, a bike trail for the Erie Canalway lunch at Portofino.
And then
which
you had the Harbor Point.
No, just yesterday.
Not yesterday.
Then we did a
but-
ribbon cutting on the
Yeah.
Empowerment Center
Yeah.
on
Okay.
James Street
With Community Foundation.
with
right?
Community
Yeah.
Foundation. We had the opening of Harbor Point. Okay. We've had an MWBE grant program get released, or we did micro enterprise grants to 12 small businesses in Utica.
But if I were to say,
listen,
we're going to debate tomorrow morning the Munson Landscape Project.
Yeah.
And we're going to come in. I got the mayor coming in, and we're going to debate this thing. No one would care. But finally, because she's pelting you left and right on ridiculousness, maybe.
Well,
and
so
here's where we just air it out.
So here's fine. We'll do that.
right.
But here's my point.
Let's do it right
Over
now.
the last,
Katie, come on in.
If she comes in, that's fine. So here's my point,
Okay.
right? If you flip through the City of Utica Facebook page, if you look through all of the press releases that go out over the last 18 months, day in and day out, we are doing things as a city that we continued, that we should have been doing all along, and we've been doing.
Listen,
and
I
we've
agree
been
with
doing
that.
things that I brought to the table as mayor over and over and over again. They're released. They're talked about. But here's my point. So I'm here today because Katie Aiello did a video. She did a video about an article that was written about work that I had been doing for 12 months, right? Now, the video was more about the headline, which said there was a new initiative, even though the article was about things that were going on for the past 18 months that I had been doing. And what I'm getting at here is this is the state society's in. Where would we be right now, social media, in that video? Where would I be and where would Katie Aiello be without that social media piece? Well, I would still be doing all the things for the city and getting all the things done and all the initiatives acted on and moved, and the work in Oneida Square, the work in Varick Street.
This is why.
Right.
This is why I'm saying that Monday morning. How's your schedule? 8 o'clock, between 8 and 9. Davey, clear out the 8 a.m. hour. We'll just go over, and you'll be able to say, "No, look at here." And by the way,
that's not my point.
Oh, I know your point. I have only one point though. I have an objective.
But why? Now I'll do it.
Yes,
right.
Right.
But why do
so
I?
You're saying you will do it.
Oh, sure. But
why do you have to?
Why do I have to come on when the newspaper article was written about the work that I was doing about a memo that went to the council documenting a lot of that because Sam Testa, Venice Irvin, Jack Lemetico, and a bunch of active council people were interested in that, and they reached out to my office, so I wrote a giant report on it and let them know what was going on and started collaborating with them. Now, the person who's not active at all refused to interact with any of this at all. Does a trash video about an article about the progress we're all doing working together that she's excluding herself from, and now she gets the spotlight. How about Venice Irvin comes on and talks about this? How about Jack Lemetico comes on and talks about this? How about Sam Colosimo Testa, who had a business in about this, and that's part of the reason I provided this to her and the whole council, so they were knew what we were doing so we could work together to create even better solutions.
That's like saying, hey, come on out to the Buffalo Bills game this weekend. They're playing Utica College. Now, I'd watch that, but that would not be a competitive game.
You're right. That wouldn't be competitive, but here's the problem. That is exactly the problem.
Right.
Okay.
So the
no,
beauty
you're not following me.
I am following you. I follow you completely.
What you're doing is taking.
Tim's not following.
No, what you're doing.
He's not following.
No, what
along.
you want to do.
Yes. No,
take the Buffalo Bills. Okay.
Okay.
And put them on the same stage as Utica College.
No, but listen. At the end of the day, she is a council person. And at the end of the day, these videos keep popping up. And yesterday when I had her on the air, it was everything you're doing is wrong.
Yes.
You're not doing anything. You're saying you're going to do something. And and I can't answer to those things. There's so many different things that were thrown at me. I felt like there were bullets coming from all over. I can't answer those.
Well,
but
so you could have answered everything about the video.
Having the two
from
of
this piece of paper here.
Having the two of you, but then I'd have to read it. Having the two of you in the same room,
right?
Where and you do not understand.
So here's my point.
Hold
I
on,
will
hold
do
on,
that
let me
because you're
finish.
asking me,
I
Bill.
am.
But what does that do to help the city?
Well, let me explain.
Absolutely
Not true. Not true.
nothing.
Because you have to understand, in my little mind, what is going on here.
Yes.
And I truly believe, I'm not joking, I'm serious,
I'm good.
that a city that has representatives
Mm-hmm.
who have an ideology that may be different from each other, that can work together, is good for the city. So therefore, if I could just sit here and help mediate to the point where, but I'm just saying, to the point where we're not distracted by these things going forward, then I have done my little piece of good for the city
and
of
I'll
Utica.
give that to you, but here's my point. I'm not distracted by it at all.
I know that. I know
If
that.
people
I know
look
that.
at what we're doing.
But I am. I'm
So
attention
let's talk about
deficit.
the Empowerment Center, for example.
Yes,
right?
I am running
That
out
took
of,
a long time to get that done.
I'm sure. Listen.
In the genesis of that happening now, the way it happened now, was
Yes.
something both I talked about during my campaign. I said, I'm going to assess the city,
Save
wake
this.
up buildings.
Save this. Don't give up all your ammo.
I'm not worried about it because
Save
it's already
for
out
the-
there.
I know that.
Like splash pads, by the way. She brought up the splash pads yesterday,
She
right?
did. I did not even know what a splash pad
Well,
was.
first off, they opened Monday.
Right.
And now she's going to, oh, yeah, well, they wouldn't have opened if I didn't do my video. No, that's the schedule. The pools, they're every single year they open the week school ends. There is a schedule.
School
And
ends
she's-
next week. Yeah.
Councilperson Aiello has been a council person for how long? And she doesn't know the standard schedule to which the actual water features
Let's
open.
not throw stones. Let's go
I'm
into
responding
this.
to the stones that were thrown, and I
Yes.
don't appreciate that someone who gets up and does the work every day.
I know that.
Someone who last
That's you.
week was standing for an hour with homeless people waiting for ICANN to show up because I do the work for
Yes.
real.
Are you upset with ICANN?
No.
Because they didn't show up?
No, they did.
But they were late.
No, they weren't.
Okay.
My
Well,
point
you
is
were
I
early.
had to literally
Yep.
speak to those people for an hour to keep them there so they could be helped.
Okay.
I don't see anyone else doing that.
Quickly, I have 30
that
seconds.
wants to challenge
So-
me on the radio.
I have a quick question for you.
Remember, this is something I asked for, not her.
So
It's fine. I'll do it.
What's the story with Mark Williamson?
So that actually took me by surprise.
Stand by because I want
Wow.
to talk about that
Yeah,
on the
let's
other
talk
side
about
of the
that.
break.
Yeah.
Because that's a big loss right there.
Yeah.
So, all right. Monday morning, Davey, get to work and do your magic.
Well, I can't commit to. I don't know that I can commit to Monday morning without someone else looking at my schedule.
You guys
by the
work
way.
on that.
Yeah.
All right. I got a break, though. And we'll.
Katie?
Yeah,
we're
because I
gonna-
work from like
we're gonna
7
work all
to
out.
6
Stand
every
by.
day.
Stand by.
Yeah.
News is next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
Israel plans to ramp up the attacks on Iran. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After another barrage of missiles hit Israel,
Iran targets civilians. We target an existential threat that endangers global security, and we will prevail.
Brigadier General Efi Defrin, Israel's health ministry, says at least 240 people were injured.
Iranian missiles struck multiple locations across Israel, including a hospital in Beersheba, where dozens were injured.
In Holon, an apartment block has been left with its roof caved in. Rescue workers are combing through the debris. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has promised revenge against what he calls the tyrants in Israel's capital, Tehran.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. He means Iran's capital, Tehran. President Trump's considering getting the U.S. involved, taking out Iran's nuclear capabilities. Fox's Peter Doocy reports from the White House.
I've been told, and talking to folks around here, that it is possible some Iranian negotiators could come here to the White House as soon as next week. But there are logistical problems getting the people who would be negotiating out of wherever they're hiding in Iran, out of the country, and then to the White House. And the way President Trump is looking at this, every time Israel strikes inside Iran, the Iranians have less leverage.
They should have made the deal. I had a great deal for them.
Hurricane Eric has just made landfall along Mexico's southwest coast, but that's the eye finally hitting. Fox Weather's Britta Merwin says it's a technicality. The eye's been finally hitting land.
It's been making landfall all night, and they have been through just probably terrifying moments overnight in Mexico.
Eric was a Category 4. Now it has 125-mile-an-hour winds, with flooding a concern in resort areas. Another failure for SpaceX.
Whoa! Whoa!
The new Starship rocket didn't even get off the ground.
No!
That was during NASA's live stream. The rocket exploded on the launch pad in Texas. 3 recent SpaceX test flights of the Starship led to failure and loss of the spacecraft. America's listening to Fox News.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/policy. That's ethos.com/policy.
U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active-duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
The Senate has held the first hearing investigating President Biden's mental fitness while in office.
This was a constitutional crisis.
Senator John Cornyn and his Republicans probe if the Biden administration covered up the president's decline. Many Democrats were no-shows at the hearing, upsetting GOP Senator Eric Schmidt.
They have chosen to ignore this issue like they ignored President Biden's decline. Their absence speaks volumes.
The use of the auto pen, and if President Biden knowingly made key decisions such as pardons, is being questioned by the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator Peter Welsh pushing back, as Democrats believe the move is political and isn't benefiting the American people.
What we're doing right now won't help.
House Republicans are also looking into President Biden's alleged cognitive decline and cover-up, and have issued subpoenas for several key Biden administration officials, as well as the former president's personal physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
There were big cheers outside a Massachusetts courtroom when Karen Reed was acquitted at a retrial on the death of her boyfriend, a police officer.
The jury found her not guilty of second-degree murder, manslaughter, and leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death. She was found guilty of the lesser charge, operating a vehicle under the influence, and was sentenced to 1 year probation.
Fox's Brian Yennis outside the court in Massachusetts. A mostly cloudy start for Vice President Vance on Blue Sky, a social media platform.
Just minutes after his first post, the vice president was suspended from Blue Sky Wednesday. The vice president writing, "Hello, Blue Sky. I've been told this app was the best place to go for common sense political discussion." But Vance was suspended within 12 minutes of the post. The ban, however, was brief as the vice president's account was reinstated. Blue Sky claimed Vance's account was suspended over concerns that it was run by an impersonator.
That's Krista Mayo. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update, brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive, Yorkville. 74 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is coming up after this. A New York State trooper will not face charges in the shooting death of a man in Unadilla back in 2021. The New York Attorney General's office has completed its investigation into the death of Mark Balby Jr., who was shot by Officer Justin Miller. The AG's office said body cam footage shows Balby Jr. threatening to kill himself with a knife before throwing knives at Miller, who had instructed him to drop the weapons. Miller then fired 3 shots at Balby Jr., who was struck in the chest, and he later died. The AG's report says Trooper Miller's actions were justified and valid, so the office will not be filing criminal charges against him. An Ilion man was arrested on charges following an alleged physical domestic dispute and for trying to flee police. According to the Oneida County Sheriff's Office, deputies were notified of the incident on Sunday and attempted to locate Philip Mavica. Authorities located him in the town of Augusta, and Mavica allegedly fled on foot. He was apprehended after a deputy deployed a taser. Authorities charged him with 2 counts of harassment, 2 counts of criminal mischief, resisting arrest, and obstruction of governmental administration. He was also charged on a previous arrest warrant from earlier this month and was held at Oneida County Jail. The Onondaga County Sheriff's Office is identifying the kayaker who drowned in Tully Lake. The agency says 21-year-old Kadir Olasi was kayaking with a friend on Sunday when he went into the water and never resurfaced. Olasi didn't have a life jacket on, and dive teams recovered his body on Monday. Olasi had joined that friend's family at the lake for the weekend, and the tragedy is still under investigation. With hot summer temperatures expected over the next few days, the American Red Cross says there are things people can do to stay safe. The agency recommends everyone stay hydrated and avoid doing strenuous outdoor activities during the warmest part of the day. Also, wear light-colored clothing and make sure to check on elderly neighbors who may not have air conditioning. Some signs of heat stroke are dizziness, lack of sweating, rapid heartbeat, and nausea. Your Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Big time heat coming next week. May have to deal with some severe weather in between, and some of that severe weather could be here today with an approaching front. Some fog this morning. Storms this afternoon around midday, maybe a little bit earlier, 85. And some storms could contain wind, hail, maybe an isolated tornado. A chance into early tonight. Overnight low 60. Hit or miss storm shower tomorrow 80. Heat really starts building, though, not this weekend. How about Monday, mid-90s? I'm Ray Stajik at the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
74 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Let's take a look at sports. Sports brought to you by the IBEW 43 local sports desk. A new NBA champion may be crowned tonight. The Indiana Pacers will play host to the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 6 of the NBA Finals in Indianapolis. The Thunder winning back-to-back games and now lead the best-of-7 series 3-2. A win would give Oklahoma City its first NBA title in team history. The Pacers preparing to play without all-star guard Tyrese Halliburton, who has been dealing with a lower leg injury and has hampered his performance throughout the series. A win by Indiana would force a Game 7 for Sunday. The Bills announced their open practice schedule for next month's training camp. The squad will prepare for the season at St. John Fisher University in Pittsford. A total of 11 open practices will be held starting July 23rd. Dates and more information can be found on the team's website. Preseason play begins August 9th with a home contest against the New York Giants. Speaking of the Giants, they're confident they will have their top target back for the start of training camp. Head coach Brian Dable says wide receiver Malik Neighbors' status for the summer will not be affected by the toe injury that caused him to miss spring practices. The G-men expect Neighbors to be ready for the start of camp on July 22nd. Neighbors finished last season with 109 catches for around 1,200 yards. The Yankees continuing to spiral after being taken down by the Angels. Pinstripes topped by L.A. 3-2. Josh Chisholm Jr. and Cody Bellinger each went deep with a solo shot. New York leading the AL East despite dropping 6 straight. They wrap its 4-game series this afternoon. The Mets also continuing their losing streak. It's up to 5 games now after being shut out by the Braves 5-0 in Atlanta. Paul Blackburn tagged with the loss after allowing 4 runs. 3 of them earned on 4 hits and 2 walks. New York still leading the NL East, though. They're hoping to salvage tonight's series finale. And Scotty Scheffler looking to defend his crown at the Travelers Championship. Scheffler won last year's tournament after topping Tom Kim in a one-hole playoff at TPC River Highlands. The 28-year-old will be alongside U.S. Open champion J.J. Spawn for the first and second rounds. Brian Campbell and Bud Cauley will be among the first pair of players teeing off in round one. Your WIBX news time is 8:11, 74 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
All right. We're in studio now, and we have the mayor. I really think we should have just aired the conversation we just had.
No, seriously.
It was good.
You know what? I'm just disappointed because there's so many people doing so much good work, and who's going to get airtime?
Listen to me.
The person who wants to just cause trouble.
You're disappointed in me.
Yeah. No, I'm disappointed in the state of just the situation we're in, because if this is what we gravitate towards, this is why we don't rise up people who are actually trying to be productive.
But I do have to say, though, that you cannot ignore the fact that you are not. I know, but listen, just let me. You don't even know what I'm going to say.
Yeah,
you cannot ignore the fact that we are not living in Ed Hanna's first term.
What do you mean by that? No. Like, time-wise, the fact that he was at Hanna.
We are in a. Have you taken the door off the mayor's office? Okay. So, but what I'm saying by this is the mayor then had his foes. I'm not comparing here. I'm not comparing here. What I'm saying, though, is the atmosphere was what it was then.
Yeah.
And he really went through media and he had the OD, the Observer Disgrace.
He acted like a king.
Yes, he acted like a king.
Yes.
You do not act that way.
No.
And in fact, sometimes I think you work so hard to speak to everyone and everyone's concern that wouldn't be me. If I were mayor, I would be like, you're just going to have to freaking live with it, okay? I'm not dealing with this, okay? Now, I know that's what you're trying to do here. However, the world we live in today is a social media world. And she is very good at
She's a social media influencer. Absolutely.
She is.
Yes.
So I'm saying let's take it to where the people are. And I'm sincere about this when I say this. I struggle when I interview Katie when she's in a place like this where it's not one issue, it becomes several issues. And I can manage that by saying, okay, Katie, you brought up this one issue, let the mayor respond to that. Okay, and you respond to that, and then we go on to the next issue. What I can't do is when she's throwing 5 things at me, and I don't know I forgive me, I don't keep that much up on every single thing that is done.
Just as a point of discussion on that.
So by bringing you in,
I get it.
You can answer to those things.
But all right, so I'll do that, but I would like to offer this.
Okay.
When she is in an interview with you,
okay,
because I rarely comment on her videos, right? Because it just creates a diatribe of insanity, right? I did on this one, the whole Oneida Square article one.
Yes.
The reason I did is because she wanted to fail to mention the fact that a month prior, I had done this work with the council, sent the memo, it was outlining all that, whatever, right? Now, my point is, the second I brought that up, she brought up 748 other things. So
that was the interview that I had yesterday.
That is a pattern. So
yes, I know
if Councilperson Aiello continues to be a council person, because this is an election year, right?
And we will bring in her opponent.
Well, so my point is, though, that is a pattern to which she wants to go after an issue, but then if challenged by anything very simple, like, can you please post to the public the memo I wrote to the council that, by the way, you didn't respond to, even though it was requested, and multiple other council people did, all of a sudden the subject changes, and the subject changes in so many different directions that no one can even understand the conversation.
That's my job. That's my job.
But I'm saying, if you keep someone on task, which is typically what I do, which is why people think, well, that's getting it. Because I keep, if this is what we're talking about, keep asking the same question. If you can't speak to it, why were you challenging this in the first place?
To me, it's one thing and then response. Yeah. It's one thing and response. And you may have a question for her, and that's fine. I just think that government will work better if we can all get past this moment. And she has agreed. And I'm not sure that's the right move for her. because she may walk out of this where the public is saying, you're not being fair to the mayor here. And that's up to you to explain why that's the case. So therefore, I've invited, and I hope that you will say yes. And people do see your facial expressions on TV.
I know they do. I'm making them right into the camera because I'm really disappointed that...
You're disappointed in me.
No, I'm not disappointed in you. I'm disappointed with the fact that...
I live with people being disappointed with me.
Dive,
so it doesn't affect
so
me.
do I.
Yeah.
If you dive into the real work that's been done in the city and the real work the council has been doing, there's so much good.
I agree.
Right. And we do live in a world that's driven by social media.
In fact, I
now.
spoke with a Democrat just yesterday who said, I think Mayor Galimi is doing a great job.
Well,
so
my point is,
Utica Democrat.
We are taking the pieces of social media that are literally creating strife in our society, and that's what we're putting on.
And we're going to create harmony.
All right,
harmony. She's back again.
She's coming. Harmony Special will be in to moderate the entire.
No, let's do that. No, let's do it.
But she's running for office all of a sudden again.
All right.
Okay, but we are creating harmony, not her.
Right.
But harmony. So let's see. Now, we're speaking with the Mayor Mike Galimi. Before we let you go, a major shock that we heard yesterday is that Mark Williamson is stepping down. What's going on?
Right. So I had conversations with Mark where even years ago when he said, when I retire from teaching, if it does coincide with me being elected, I may resign as a council person. It happening on the floor yesterday, which I didn't see it.
So you did
but
not,
I know it happened.
You did not have a heads up on
No, I got a call from Tom Caputo after the council meeting ended, and he asked me about it, and I was like, yeah, that's I did not know that was happening this evening, Tom. But I was shocked only because I felt like it probably was going to happen after he retired, because he was going to kind of say like, hey, and this has happened before on the council multiple times, across the board in different seats.
Sure.
It's not a crazy thing to happen, but I was actually just taken back because Mark has been on the council the whole time I was there.
Yeah.
When I became council president, he was always that person that I spoke to because he always kind of threaded a needle between everything. Mm-hmm. He was always, the big burly ROTC guy, but then he was the parks commissioner doing the cleanups and wanted the tree canopies in Cornhill and it
almost seemed it seemed like he was a voice of reason.
And he was a center of all that, where he would kind of just listen to everything, and then when things got crazy, he would maybe raise his voice a little, right? But say like, hey, we've got to really figure this out, because we're the council. We got to vote on this, and it was really a pleasure working with him as council president the whole time, and I wish him well.
Yeah, but you don't know anything further than
what bums me out more is what I'm hearing is the ROTC program at Proctor is not going to continue after he retires.
Oh, it will not continue.
Well, that's what I heard, and I'd love to. Yeah, and if it's not, that would be a shame.
Loss.
So I'm hoping that's not the case.
Yeah.
So when someone like this kind of retires or isn't a council person anymore, all of a sudden you start like thinking about all the pieces they filled,
right?
And you realize what's going to be missing.
Yeah, I just hope it's not a health related issue.
I don't believe it is. I don't believe it is. It's grandkids. He's retiring.
Yeah.
I really think it's time.
Can I say it is the type of thing where I can understand that, where all of a sudden one day you just wake up and you're like, yeah, that's it. I mean, I've left jobs that way. It's like, I'm not really enjoying this anymore here.
As opposed to the ones where they said,
that's most of the time.
They made you quit.
Most of the time, I'd have to wake up and say, you know what? They got rid of me, but I'm okay with it.
And they were like, Bill, you're in your exit interview right now, right?
There's your box.
There's a box here. You put your things in the box. Yeah. And then that sheriff over there is going to walk you out. I've been there, but I've also been in that situation where I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yep.
And boom, I'd have a job in a week and I'd be traveling off. That's how I took my job in Providence. It was like, not anymore, not doing it. I'm gone.
You were like, I'm out.
And I was.
See, I'm the opposite.
Within a week. Yeah.
I go down with ships. Always have.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I've done that a few times too. So I can relate. However, I can see where maybe he's just like, you know what? Life is not infinite.
Correct.
And why are we working? Why are we really working? And it should be to make for a better place and to accomplish great things. But at the end of the day, we really are working to be able to have the means to spend time with friends and family.
Right.
And
I do think part of it, because a lot of our conversations over the past couple of years are that as social media does creep into the spectrum of what's going on, the council meetings more and more similar to when Viscera used to video the meetings. Remember when that whole thing came up about Viscera videoing the meetings and how disruptive it was, and they censured him and they said, you can't do this. And if you're a council person, you can't use the footage for these things. Mark and I have had some real conversations about the fact that because what is said on the floor is being said more and more, so it can be used as a soundbite in a personal video after or a personal post after. It's changing how we work together, and it's taking the Utica Common Council, which was always a lot of debate, a lot of anger, a lot of open discussion, a lot of back and forth. Sam and I used to be on the radio all the time when I was council president, right?
Yeah.
But when it got down to it, we were on two sides of the table with only one thing in mind. Actually helping the city. And Mark, and I know that for him, and I'm speaking for him right now because I'm really one of his very good friends. I see the fact that for people who have to say this is grandkids or council, just throwing that out there, is it worth doing this when everyone else is not in it for the same reason anymore?
Well, what you forget,
and that's why I'm looking for elected officials this campaign season who are in it for the right reason.
This is why this back and forth between you and her is going to be good. Trust me, I can feel it in my bones. And
I've been through it a couple times, so I'm going to do it for you, Bill.
But let me tell you, what you're forgetting is what the Common Council used to be like. You're not in a fist fight being dragged out by police. What this used to be was a WWE.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the late 80s
circus.
when there was literally people jumping over it. Yeah.
Craziness.
Right.
So to think about, I understand what it
I'm
was
not on the Common Council
10 years ago,
by the way.
But where it is today is as opposed to through history,
right.
I'd say you're in a pretty good place, believe it or not.
And then where the council ended, the school board began.
The school board began. That was
the
just
other one.
as crazy.
Yeah.
And just, think about all that's happened there in the last 5 years. So,
absolutely.
Okay. So you're saying reluctantly.
No. I'll do it. But we do have to figure out how to schedule it, though, because, I'm booked. I literally, when people call, I'm booked out for like 2 months.
Well, we can't wait that long. We can't wait that long.
No, but I'm saying, like, even these interviews, I have to work around a lot of different things.
You tell the people you're booked with to call me. I'll get everything canceled and rescheduled for you. Davey, I'm going to let you work this out between the mayor and Katie Ayala.
Now, if that's going to happen,
yes,
we do have to bring up the fact that this is her election year.
Oh, no doubt about it.
She has an opponent.
And
I am not her opponent at all whatsoever. I don't want to be her opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the entire time I've been mayor, I've sat on E&A with her.
Yes.
Okay. Tried to work with her.
Well, she
and we continually, we're ready to go.
Davey has an update.
She just responded to me. Any day you want, I'm there.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Fine. Great.
Now, the other thing I want to make very clear here, is you were not ambushed this morning. I did not bring you in. You knew what I was going to ask you when you walked through these doors.
When this interview was scheduled, one, I thought I was coming on yesterday, which is why I walked in your door yesterday.
And I didn't know that.
That was my
fault.
Yeah.
I did not listen to the interview yesterday, so when I committed to the interview beforehand and said I would come on the radio with the Harbor and also to respond to that, no, I did not come here knowing you were going to ask me that.
Well, you're surprised that I'm asking you? You knew that I was going to ask.
Oh, I knew I was going to ask you as of this morning.
Yes, as of this morning.
I was told what you said in the interview.
Okay.
But when I commit to coming on the radio, I don't cancel like
Davey,
other elected officials do.
That is true.
Yeah, exactly.
And you show up. I appreciate that.
Which puts me in a position where I'm put on the spot a lot
and
because people know I won't cancel.
Are those expensive glasses? Or,
no. They're
Oh.
like $22 glasses from the sneaker store because I run the Boilermaker.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I believe they are Tifosi's, if anyone wants to run with Tifosi's or Gooders that you could get at the sneaker store.
I didn't know
Not
you
that
had
I'm plugging the sneaker store 100 times, but that's where I buy all my sneakers.
You know, they sell Tifosi's on the streets of New York City for $15. So.
Yeah, those are those Canal Street specials.
I think they are,
Tribeca.
This is a serious
Tribeca
question for
sidewalk
Mike,
shops.
what you're going to have to relay to him, Bill.
Okay.
It's from a concerned citizen in the city of Utica. They went down to Harbor Point last week and they noticed that there's a lack of garbage cans. Are you going to put more garbage cans down on Harbor Point, Mike?
So yes, we had garbage cans down there that are temporary, and we are actually right now in the process of selecting the style of garbage cans you would see like up in the Adirondacks with the little smaller holes in them that could be bolted down so that people can't cram 100 pizza boxes in them.
Yeah.
Or live in them. I've seen a few people trying to live in them. So. Okay, Mayor, thank you.
You're very welcome.
And I'm sorry, both at the same time. Do not hold this against me.
Listen, I'm just sorry for society right now.
I think society will be a better place. In fact, Tim Reed just said he will be. No, you can't be here for this interview.
No.
Well, so I guess my point is, though, I spent a lot of time on the radio today talking about a lot of things. And you know what we never talked about?
What?
All the things I did over the last 12 months that were in that article that she says I wasn't doing.
That is what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate.
No, that's fortunate. It's going to be very fortunate.
Yeah.
I'm going to love this, and so are you.
All right. Well, I'll just precede it with that's her district. Yeah. And I've never gotten any prioritizations at all from the council person in that district for that district.
Let's go in peacefully.
Yes.
So
that's reality. That's a problem.
Yeah,
I ask for those things and I don't get them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
Have a good
Thanks,
day.
Mayor.
Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you
keep running.
Run the Boilermaker. Run onto the stage, perform with Showtime, the whole 9 yards. This is all going to be very exciting.
I find a bib.
We got to get you a bib. We got to get you a bib. All right, quick break. I want to talk about something else that's big and positive happening in the area. The Levitt Amp Utica announcing the lineup on Monday. We'll speak with Michelle McCarrick coming up at WIBX.
They say no two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app with over 16 million subscriptions sold? Well, we thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. She's an artist and absolutely a visual learner. She's doing a deep dive into our Babbel wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Malcolm is very much a type A, say it to my face, listening learner. So he checks with Babbel's speech recognition to make sure that accent?
Precio.
Keith's a real people person and a curious learner, so he loves Babbel's Culture Bites, full of insights and native knowledge about the language he's learning. Like, what's served for Christmas dinner in Germany?
Glühwein, Weihnachtsgans und Christmasstollen.
Wherever you are, however you learn, Babbel is the best choice to break any language barrier. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/radio. That's leaffilter.com/radio.
Prescription products require completion of an online medication consultation with an independent healthcare provider through the LifeMD platform and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Individual results may vary. Additional restrictions apply at lifemd.com. Read all warnings before using GLP-1s. Side effects may include a risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. Do not use GLP-1s if you or your family have a history of thyroid cancer.
Confused on where to start with weight loss medication? See the lowest prices available with or without insurance for Wegovy, Zepbound, and more at trylifemd.com. 95% of LifeMD patients said starting their weight loss journey was simple. Listen to Tara's story after losing 42 pounds.
You just take your shot. It doesn't feel like you're on a diet. What I wasn't expecting it to do was to shut off the food noise. I had gone from 237 to 195. This was life-altering, and if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it.
Get your free insurance benefits check in minutes right now at trylifemd.com. Nearly 96% of patients said they would recommend the LifeMD program to anyone who wants to lose weight. Get started right now at trylifemd.com. That's TRYLIFEMD.com.
Spring is in the air, and so are the savings at Adirondack Home Furniture in Utica. Now is the perfect time to refresh your space with their incredible spring sale. Discover a beautiful selection of high-quality, USA-made furniture that brings together timeless style and lasting durability. Whether you're updating a single room or reimagining your entire home, Adirondack Home Furniture has just what you need with unbeatable prices that won't stretch your budget. Looking to elevate your outdoor living? Don't miss their best prices of the season on indoor and outdoor furniture. Perfect pieces for spring and summer lounging. Take advantage of flexible financing options to make your dream home more affordable than ever and enjoy free local delivery on every purchase. Shop at your own pace in a low-pressure atmosphere with help from experienced interior designers who are ready to bring your vision to life. Visit Adirondack Home Furniture at Riverside Center, Utica, or online at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com. Adirondack Home Furniture. Create the home and the patio you've always dreamed of.
On Thursday's Guy Benson Show, our colleague Griff Jenkins on the latest border number is really eye-opening. Our friend Mary Catherine Ham joins us as well. We'll have the very latest on Iran and that conflict with Israel and potential U.S. involvement, plus even more policy madness out of the state of New York. All that and more jam-packed on the Thursday edition of The Guy Benson Show.
Guy Benson, airing at 7, only on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive, Yorkville. An Ilion man was arrested on charges following an alleged physical domestic dispute and for trying to flee police. According to the Oneida County Sheriff's Office, deputies were notified of the incident Sunday and attempted to locate Philip Mavica. Authorities located him in the town of Augusta, and Mavica allegedly fled on foot. He was apprehended after a deputy deployed a taser. Authorities charged him with 2 counts of harassment, 2 counts of criminal mischief, resisting arrest, and obstruction of governmental administration. He was also charged on a previous arrest warrant from earlier this month and is being held at Oneida County Jail. New York's consumer protection law is being updated to protect New Yorkers from artificial intelligence-based schemes and other scams. What's called the Fair Business Practices Act also protects against deed theft, predatory lending, data breaches, and more. It would stop lenders from deceptively steering people into higher-cost loans. The Fair Business Practices Act has not been updated in 45 years. New York-based JetBlue Airways is cutting back the number of flights from JFK to other airports. CEO Joanna Garrity points to softer than expected travel demand, but is hoping flight bookings eventually rebound. She told staff members in a memo that even a recovery won't fully offset the ground lost this year, and their path back to profitability would take longer than hoped. JetBlue will be cutting some of its off-peak flights and unprofitable routes. Department of Labor stats show air travel in May was down more than 7% compared to this time last year. Barack Obama says the U.S. is moving dangerously close towards autocracy. The former president spoke in Connecticut Tuesday and said the current political climate is not consistent with American democracy, but with autocracies where one person holds absolute power. Obama says we're not there yet, but thinks we're dangerously close to normalizing behavior like that. Obama added that he's still the hope guy and said there's a healthy outrage we should be exhibiting in terms of what's currently happening both here and around the world. Your Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Big time heat coming next week. May have to deal with some severe weather in between, and some of that severe weather could be here today with an approaching front. Some fog this morning. Storms this afternoon around midday, maybe a little bit earlier. 85. And some storms could contain wind, hail, maybe an isolated tornado. A chance into early tonight. Overnight low 60. Hit or miss storm shower tomorrow 80. Heat really starts building, though, not this weekend. How about Monday, mid-90s? I'm Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Well, we have sunshine and Tim Reed. It's already, are you ready?
What?
You know what the temperature is right now? 145 already.
Wow.
Already.
Jeez.
It's currently, this really is significant. It's already 75.
Wow.
And we're not even to 9 o'clock yet. Okay, coming up, we'll talk about Levitt Amp Utica. Also, John Decker. He is the chief White House correspondent with Gray TV. And I have comments. People saying,
good things.
You piece of garbage. How could you put the mayor in this position?
Yeah.
Listen, he's the mayor. And I have all the confidence in the world in personally in what he is doing and how he will be able to handle himself. And to me, you put it all out there and like a checklist. This is what I'm doing. Nope. This is the truth.
Right.
And here's where everything can be backed up.
Right.
And let's do it.
I think it's good.
Do you agree? It's good for the city.
It is. Listen, more talk is better.
I agree. That's a good statement right there.
Yep.
I'm going to run with that.
Oh, good.
I'm going to run with it. I'm going to quote you, too. Quick break. We'll come right back at WIBX.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PICKUP to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PICKUP. for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PICKUP for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
No store in New York State has all these brands under one roof except Mattress Express, and our 4th of July sales are on. Save up to $1,350 on names like Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh and Lavish, Therapeutic, Simmons Beauty Rest Black, Serta Eye Comfort, and Avocado. You heard me right. And after purchase, if you see it advertised less within 90 days, bring it to our attention. We refund the difference. If all that weren't enough, take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers. And we have no credit check payment plans. In New Hartford on Commercial Drive next to Pet Supplies Plus. In Oneida in the Glenwood Plaza by the movie theaters. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS. Go to mattressexpressny.com. Hurry, the 4th of July sales are on.
Looking for a reliable ride without the brand new price tag? Come to Steep Pawnee Chevrolet in Herkimer and check out our huge selection of Car Bravo certified pre-owned vehicles. Virtually all makes and models, all backed by a certified warranty and low financing options. Right now, qualified buyers get rates as low as 3.9% for 36 months on popular models like the Chevy Equinox, Trailblazer, Traverse, and Malibu. Take the stress out of car shopping and receive the buying experience you deserve from your local family-owned dealership. You'll drive with confidence in a Car Bravo certified pre-owned vehicle from Steep Pawnee Chevrolet in Herkimer. But hurry, these deals won't last. You must take delivery by June 30th. Together, let's drive to Steep Pawnee Chevrolet, State Route 28 in Herkimer, or online anytime at steeppawneechevy.com. All taxes and fees additional. Customer must qualify for top-tier credit through GM Financial. See salesperson for details.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
You know, today is Juneteenth.
Yes.
Which means no mail, no bank.
No stock market.
No stock market.
Nothing.
No school. No any of that today. On Juneteenth. Let's see. I wanted to see on some comments here. Hold
positive comments.
Oh, they're all very, very positive.
The show is
holy moly.
A+.
And I can't seem to find any that Richard is not overpowering. Richard is.
Richard already got you this morning. Called you out.
Apparently, the chat, the comment. Oh no, I'm looking on YouTube. Holy moly!
Oh,
what happened with Mark Williamson? Larry asking, and I kind of wonder. That's he's kind of taking time.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. She is going to call now. You spoke her into existence, says Deeds.
Oh.
Hope he knows he's getting double teamed when he comes back.
So
Bill is not going to be
you're
fair.
Gonna be,
I'm not going to be fair.
You're,
what is he talking about? Deeds, you are way off on this one. Listen, are you an experienced installer looking to take the next step in your career? New York Sash is now hiring experienced professionals to lead crews in window siding and bath installations. Earn $30 to $40 an hour, plus enjoy steady year-round work with one of Central New York's most trusted home improvement companies in New York Sash. For over 30 years, New York Sash has built a reputation for top-tier craftsmanship, and they're looking for people to join their team. A great career path, great pay, full benefits, 401k, paid time off, opportunities for advancement, tools, uniforms, support to succeed, plus the pride of knowing your work makes a difference. You can apply now at newyorksash.com/jobs or stop by 649 Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro to get started. And in studio right now, and make sure we get everybody in with the right mic. These mics are all over the place. Michelle McCarrick, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you? Happy Juneteenth.
Do you want to pipe in on Utica politics?
No, I'm just going to bring some joy, live music, quality of life things for the city of Utica. It's Juneteenth. It's all about celebration and joy, so let's just focus on that for a few
wise
minutes.
woman.
I do sometimes think music can bring people together.
Mm-hmm.
that is exactly what it does.
Yeah, yeah.
That is the universal language, right?
So the Levitt Amp is a great program here that we apply for each year, and lucky enough to...
we do. This is our 10th year, actually, Bill. We had, of course, COVID messes up the numbers, but this will be our 9th live season. So we've had 80 concerts in Oneida Square.
So the lineup gets announced on Monday.
It did. On Tupac's birthday, I must put that in there. It was purposeful.
What are the highlights? What do you want to promote?
Listen, the very being of the Levitt Amp series, it's the Levitt Foundation is based in Los Angeles. It's a family foundation. We're one of 33 cities across the country, from Hawaii to Florida to Vermont, Kentucky, and everywhere in between, that are activating public spaces and bringing free live music to our communities. So we take out all the barriers to access to high caliber music. You are seeing bands who are national touring bands all over the place. You're seeing them before they blow up, which is amazing, for free.
Right.
You know, Samara Joy was here, and she's gone on to win 3 jazz Grammys. Danielle Ponder is blowing up, doing a lot of things on Apple TV and touring the world. Sammy Ray and the Friends, like, it gives me goosebumps to be able to do this. And you know how expensive concert tickets are these days?
It's terrible.
Woo!
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
So we part of the grant is to activate an underutilized public space. So Copernic Park in Utica was really, and the first place I lived when I moved to Utica was Oneida Square, and it's always been challenged. It continues to be challenged. We know this, but we have consistent programming for the past decade in Oneida Square in this park, turning it into a destination for the arts. Over that time, there's been just over $600,000 in cash infused into the arts and investment, and you add in all the in-kind professional services, we're $1.6 million of an investment in the arts in Oneida Square.
That's awesome.
So those numbers, again, 80. Right before COVID, we were averaging 700-800 people in that park, and we had one concert that topped 1,000 people in that little park.
And you've had some names. You mentioned names here.
Brandon Taz Niederauer, the up and coming Jimi Hendrix. Like, hello.
You've even had some that by the time they get here, they already have songs on the charts.
They do. Yep. We have one coming this year that has been nominated for a couple Latin Grammys.
Okay.
The Juno Awards up in Canada, which is kind of a Grammy equivalent. We've got some nominated folks from there coming in.
All right, give us a taste of the lineup this year.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. So that's a prerequisite too, is that we have to have a diverse lineup. So we've got everything. We're starting out with Southern blues rock, which is pretty cool. And in the second week, we've got country. So we've got Jessica Lynn coming to us. They're coming from all over this year too.
Yeah.
Nashville, New York City, Boston, Ireland. We've got Afro-Indian funk, which she sings in a couple different endangered languages. We've got this woman coming from Nashville that is likened to Adele. She's phenomenal. Tim, you were asking me before about Boston. Bermuda Search Party. They're coming from Boston. They met at Berklee School of Music. The Lee Boys, one of the oldest African-American sacred steel bands, gospel
cool.
with like some blues to it.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And a shout out to Estina Smith, who's getting married this weekend, who's going to open that week, which is exciting. One I'm really excited about, I'm like a 90s hip hop girl, right? So we were out in LA at the convening for the foundation, and Koof Knotts and Christina Lease, they're from Philly. He is a hip hop artist, ranked one of the best rappers in Philly in 2022. And she is a harp player who has taught at Temple, where my son went. And together, it's like the hip hop sound you didn't know you needed in your life. So that is like not to miss. We've got a Indo-Tanzanian Canadian woman coming who's got this really cool sound. Hermitage Green. Utica loves their Irish music. And they were here a couple years ago. Let me tell you something. They are phenomenal and some of the nicest musicians we have ever worked with over the years. Do not miss that. And then we've got Jocelyn and the Sweet Compression. She's coming from Lexington. She is a force, and she is also one of the greatest musicians.
When does all of this begin?
July 7th. We're starting a little bit late. Normally, we're part of kind of the Juneteenth celebration, but we're going to go 8 Mondays and 2 Friday nights, actually. You can find the entire lineup we're on Facebook, on Instagram. We have our website, LevittAmpUtica.org.
Yeah.
AMP stands for Amplify, Music, and Place. That's what we do every year.
The ability to be able to hear bands of this stature for all of nothing, I mean, is amazing to me.
Free 99, Tim. Free 99.
And to me, some of the best bands I've seen are bands that I saw and they hadn't hit big yet. And you hear them and you go, these people are going somewhere.
Yeah.
And you'll always
You can
remember
tell.
that.
That's part of your story. You always want to be like, I saw them for free back
Exactly.
in the day in
Mhm.
Utica. And, I can't. I can't forget to mention that we've got local and regional openers. So
Yep.
all of your favorite bands from the Sean Smith Band, Steve Falvo's Easy Money Big Band is coming, Rising Ghost from Syracuse, Filled to the Brim is back again. So you get to see them. And in between, we have half hour when we change over the stage, we have youth intermission acts. So we program those, and a lot of times
That's cool.
we're a creative training ground for youth at Levitt. We have interns, a whole system every year. This is our 5th year. And the kids who perform at intermission are high school, college age, and a lot of times we hand them their first paycheck as a performing artist, which is a really big privilege for
And
us.
if they're looking to go to school for music, this is a great opportunity, a great thing to put on
Yeah,
their
some of them are.
application and-
Alyssa Tomasi from Filled to the Brim, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that band, but they started, the kids were 12,
Mhm.
and now they're 19, they're off in college. She's
Yeah.
going to be one of our interns. She's going to be an intermission act, and she's playing on stage with the band this year.
I also think that YouTube has been a really good promoter of a lot of these acts. That you can,
Preview.
somebody you're following on YouTube, and all of a sudden you find out they're showing up at this event.
Yeah, we've had people come into Utica. This is the nice thing about Levitt. Sammy Ray and the Friends is really popular. I didn't realize how popular. I was talking to a dad at that concert, and he's like, "We're from Watertown." My daughter's like, "Hey, Dad, can you take us to this?" He's like, "The price is free. Let's roll."
Let's go.
They came in
Yeah.
and got a hotel
Yeah.
and stayed, and that was a beautiful night.
Yeah. Okay. It all begins right after the 4th on Monday after 4th of July weekend.
July 7th, yeah.
And anything else you want people to know? Obviously, they can go to the website and check
Yeah.
everything out.
You know what? You have nothing to lose. And it is
Yeah.
the atmosphere is joy. The audience is reflective of Utica. It is where we can say our city is diverse, and where we are and what we are throwing makes it feel like you belong and you are loved, and the neighborhood is loved.
Yeah.
So just come out. It's free. It's Monday night. It's a beautiful spot.
And thank you for what you've done for the Children's Museum.
Oh,
it's
my
fantastic.
goodness. What a great day job I have, right?
Wow.
It is.
Wow.
It is an amazing transformation.
I know. It's what an amazing journey, and just going through the whole thing. I have no words.
Good on you.
It's so great. Thank
Good
you.
stuff, Michelle McCarrick. Thank you. And
Thank you,
quick break.
guys.
We'll wrap it up with John Decker, Great TV, coming right up.
Hi, my name is Pete Donahue. I've been a school bus driver for Whitesboro for 18 years. What I like best about the job is to get the kids to school every day. I see their smiling faces every single morning. I also like the fact that when I get to drive the school bus, I'm kind of like my own boss, and I get to do the safety with the kids on and off the bus. And I like the time off that I get driving the school bus. You get the summers off. And Andy Kirk is like the best boss ever, and he's really good to the employees. The number's 315-768-9740.
Ferris Commercial Mowers set the bar with racing-inspired patented full suspension and integrated cutting decks so you can go faster, cut better, and not get beat up. Ferris Experience Suspension. Take advantage of the best financing and prices of the year. Visit us at whitesfarmsupply.com.
We're the power in power equipment. White's Farm Supply.
Why do we say we bring the fun to your backyard? Because at Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas, that's exactly what we aim to do. And a fiberglass pool can bring years and years of backyard fun. A fiberglass pool from Tucker Backyard is more affordable now than ever. Plus, with durability, low maintenance, and of course, beauty, it's the perfect fit for your backyard. Come visit our unique indoor showroom, including 3 fully functional pools, giving you a full hands-on experience. Or try our new interactive showroom and design the pool or spa of your dreams. Interact, design, review, and save. With Tucker Backyard service and knowledge, now is the time to stop by and learn more about putting the pool of your dreams in your backyard. Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas, 8086 Seneca Turnpike, 1 mile west of Big Apple Plaza. Online at tuckerbackyard.com. Visit Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas, Seneca Turnpike. We bring the fun to your backyard.
If you are experiencing any bit of pain, back pain, shoulder, neck pain, you might be surprised to find that it could be coming from your feet. And you've really created habits that are not necessarily good habits in the way that you walk. Enter the Good Feet Store, 4630 Commercial Drive in New Hartford. I went through the free fitting and the test walk, and am a part of the program. These are inserts that the most important part is when they test the way you walk. You see your arch, you see the abnormalities, and what these inserts can do to change the way you feel and the change when it comes to pain. 3-step process includes strengtheners, maintainers, and relaxers. 3 categories of arch supports with varying levels of strength. Support that works together to improve and maintain proper foot alignment by exercising and strengthening muscles, tendons, and ligaments of the feet. You don't even know you're exercising because the inserts, you're just walking. You're not walking extra. You're just doing your normal activity. But the inserts make all the difference in the world. No appointment necessary. The Good Feet store, you can walk in, 4630 Commercial Drive in New Hartford.
3 steps. Give me 3 steps.
Give me 3
Leonard
steps.
Skinnerd.
That was one of the country songs.
Country.
I just want to read this from some guy in the 315. Bill will not be fair. He treats the ones who hire him for commercials and give them free publicity differently than the rest. First of all, I've never done work for Katie Aiello, and I've never done work for Mike Galimi, either one. However, I do care about the city, right?
Yeah.
And I do
Did you
feel,
sell him the sunglasses, maybe?
I might have sold him the sunglasses. I didn't make much.
Yeah.
The markup is huge. But I would say this, that it is, I think Mike is doing a great job.
Yeah.
And I do think that I was in a situation with Katie with all of these complaints about him.
Confusion.
It was confusing, and the only way it can be answered is if Mike answers them, and we can nail these down one at a time.
Right.
This is really quite simple. Don't make more into it than what it really is.
Right.
It's simply, I became frustrated in an interview yesterday, and I'm like, you know what? I wish Mike was here.
Right.
He could answer these.
Right.
So, and I think the mayor is...
And dealing with your attention deficit to try to remember what this one said or that said.
Completely...
Good. Go to the wellhead.
Confused. Let's go to the source. So
Correct.
It's nothing more than that.
Right.
And I can't wait for it to happen, and we will be fair. John Decker, Chief White House Correspondent with Great TV, in studio. Well, technically on the line right now. John, good morning.
I'm not in studio.
Listen, John, I got to say, you would agree that when, in politics, if people are talking and conversing and debating, only good can come out of that. Now, maybe something gets exposed, but for the public, we learn. And to me, that is important.
Well, I agree with that. Absolutely. Unfortunately, here in Washington, you rarely see Republicans and Democrats talking to each other. The reason why bipartisanship on various pieces of legislation is so rare. And when you see it, it is pretty remarkable. You think to yourself, what makes that legislation such that you have Republicans and Democrats both wanting to support it? The infrastructure bill in Biden's only term in the White House is an example of that. But, right now, as it relates to the possibility of the U.S. potentially getting involved militarily in Iran, there's a divide in the Republican Party right now in terms of whether or not to do that. You have the hawks on one side, people like Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz, the doves on the other side, people like Rand Paul and Tucker Carlson, and, that's what the president's dealing with in terms of making a decision right now.
So at the end of the day, though, to say that this is their war, it has nothing to do with us, this world is way too small to have that opinion.
Well, it is. When you're talking about, specifically Iran's nuclear ambitions, that impacts not only the state of Israel, it impacts the whole region. It could impact the whole world, and that's the reason why the president has taken an active role in this and is contemplating potentially using one of those so-called bunker-busting bombs to destroy some Iranian nuclear facilities.
I have about a minute, John. Your thought on the big, beautiful bill, because the Senate has really worked that up and changed things just a little bit.
Well, look, I think that the president has to realize that the bill that emerged out of the U.S. Senate, that emerges out of the House, I should say, is not the bill that will emerge out of the U.S. Senate. It's going to look different. I think the president's goal should be signing that bill, getting it to his desk within his first year in office. There's some artificial deadlines that he set. The first year is the most important time frame for the president. Next year it gets complicated given that it's the midterm election year. And then after then, you just don't know because you don't know what the makeup of the House and the Senate will be.
We'll be watching as the day goes on, as we go into the weekend. Who knows what's going to happen, but I know you'll be the first one to ask questions. John, we appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Bill. Bye-bye.
All right, John Decker, Chief White House Correspondent with Gray TV. Tim, great job today.
Thank you.
We appreciate
What a morning.
What a morning.
What a morning.
And we're, Davey, congratulations, and we're back tomorrow morning. News is next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Will Iran's supreme leader be targeted soon? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Israel's defense minister said today in order to achieve all their goals, the Ayatollah should not continue to exist. After another barrage of Iranian missiles sent Israelis into bomb shelters, and some of those missiles got through the Iron Dome defense. Fox's Mike Tobin in an area of Tel Aviv that took a direct hit.
The damage here stretches over several blocks. You've got a lot of apartment buildings, businesses, retail that are in here. The balconies are destroyed. Windows are broken out for blocks around the impact zone. Also, Holon on the south side of Tel Aviv. That's an older residential area. That took a direct hit. And a hospital called Soroka in the southern part of Israel was hit.
That's Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's place now. He just visited that site.
In this hospital, there are patients who are immobile. They can't even move. Right next to it is a children's ward, a baby's ward, infants. They targeted.
And he says that's the difference in the conflict with Iran.
Israel is fighting to remove the nuclear and missile threat aimed at our annihilation.
As President Trump considers helping Israel's military, some in Congress demand he wait for their approval. Many Republicans disagree.
I believe the president has full authority.
GOP Senator John Barrasso tells Fox
Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. He said it strongly. He's said it repeatedly because he knows that Iran with a nuclear weapon is a threat to the people of the United States.
Hurricane Eric has been battering Mexico's southwest coast all night into the morning, and a short time ago, the eye finally made landfall.
It's skirting the coast, and think of all of those winds affecting all of those communities, resort areas, a lot of timeshares here, and a lot of people who live here, too.
Fox Weather's Craig Herrera. Eric was a Category 4 hurricane. Now its top winds down to 125 miles an hour. Catastrophic flooding is a concern as well. In West Virginia, it's up to 8 deaths in flash flooding over the weekend in the Wheeling area. Homes and businesses destroyed. Some roads washed out, leaving cars underwater. America's listening to